unstoppable. We are the children of Biafra. We are untiable. Can't you see the handwriting of God in the wall? Can't you hear the sound of the marching of our foot? We are going home. They took our brothers and sisters, they put them in jail. Without trial or court case, they are killing our fathers, our mothers every day. They are killing us in number. They want to stop our freedom, but the Elohim say no, that my people must go. Give us our freedom. Give us our freedom. Oh, raise up the people that cheated for their freedom. When you're not with them, don't need you. Give us our freedom. And you say we are asking for too much. The freedom of our people, the life of innocent souls. The over 3 million people you kill because of genocide you're committing every day in our land. Elohim said we must go home. We love our mother's land, Biafra, oh oh. The land of rising sun, the blessed land of our Biafra. We are going home.
Whether the enemies like it or not, we are going home.
By the name of Chukwu,
By the name of Chukwu, we are free.
whether the enemy likes it or not.
Whether the enemies like it or not,
Freedom,
we are going home.
freedom, in the name of Chukwu.
By the name of Chukwu, we are free.
No enemy can stop what Chukwu Ike has
Whether the enemies like it or not, we are going
We
home.
believe in the name of Chukwu
By the name of Chukwu,
Chukwu Kasiyaniye. No one can battle with Chukwu Ikabiama. The God of Biafrans is powerful. His name is Elohim. We have nothing in common with you. Our culture is different from your own. Know it now. Our dressing is so different. We are different people. Let my people go. Go, go, go. We are the children of Biafra. We are unstoppable. We are the children of Biafra. We are untiable. Can't you see the handwriting of God in the wall? Can't you hear the sound of the marching of our foot? We are going home by the name of Chukwu Ikabiama.
Whether the enemies like it or not, we are going home.
By the name of Chukwu,
By the name of Chukwu, we are free.
whether the enemy likes it or not.
Whether the enemies like it or not,
Freedom,
we are going home.
freedom, in the name of Chukwu.
By the name of Chukwu, we are free.
We are free in the name of Chukwu. Chukwu.
We are going home.
If you believe, say this with me.
By the name of Chukwu,
Chukwu Kasiyaniye. When we have no bomb, you call us terrorists. When we have no gun, you are shooting us. When we move around the streets with our flag, you call us terrorists. Tell me now, let me know. Innocent protesters moving around the streets, you call them terrorists. What about us raping our mothers, killing our brothers, raping our sisters, killing our fathers, killing innocent souls? What will you call those people? I ask you.
is that right?
nothing. We are fighting for our rights. We are fighting for our freedom. It's our right to protect our mother's land. Fellow Biafrans, lift your heads up. We are going up. We are going up. Land of Biafra. We are the rising of the sun. We are moving. We are unstoppable. Long live Biafrans. Long live Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Long live Ipob. Long live Simon Eko. My name is Socio-political. God bless our people. God will grant us our request. Very soon we shall be free. By the name of Socio-political.
We are going home.
By the name of Socio-political.
We are free.
Whether the enemy likes it or not. Freedom.
We are going
Freedom. In the name of Socio-political.
We are free.
No enemy can stand one Socio-political.
We are going
We believe in the name of Socio-political. Chukwu kasi anile.
Biafra.
In the damnable Zoological Republic. I am very, very happy that following our broadcast last night, a lot of pastors and preachers, and above all, the very formidable Catholic Church came out today to speak on behalf of the protesters, to lend their support as well. And we welcome it. I called for it yesterday and it happened today. Even saboteurs are now rising up and they're speaking. They couldn't have spoken before. They had nothing to say because they are in the same camp. We reverend
I want to say thank you very much. May Socio-political continue to bless you and give you more wisdom to move this Ipob struggle forward in the name of Socio-political. I also want to find out if
online, on air, on digital satellite.
Tonight, they have come to spill the blood of the innocent. They have come that truth may become lies, and lies accepted as truth. But insofar as, inasmuch as we live and we breathe, this very noble family of Ipob will not allow evil to prevail. Wherever we see injustice, we fight it. It doesn't matter if that very injustice is being foisted upon those that we may ideologically disagree with. Therefore, this evening's broadcast is exceptionally important. It is very, very critical that you attend with your pen and your paper as usual, and a great dose of common sense to add. Before we proceed, we must pray. I understand that the whole world is listening, including those in the Far East, those in Japan, those in Australia, those of you in New Zealand that I will be meeting very shortly. Everywhere is agog with excitement for the upcoming tour of the Far East and Australia. Before we go any further, Socio-political must accept every praise, every honor, and every adoration. We pray as we always pray each day before we come on this noble platform and when we are on it, that we are nothing before the sight of the Most High, because only Him liveth from eternity to eternity. We are mortals and we are flesh. We come and we go, but the words of Socio-political shall remain forever. We must bow down our heads in prayer as the ancients did. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And we shall say of Elohim, He is our refuge and our fortress. He is our God, and in Him we trust. Not in any man, not in any flesh, not in any carvings made by the hands of men. Our trust is in the Most High Elohim. Surely,
media platform. The question we're asking them is this.
Because salvation cometh from thee and thee alone. This evening, all across the entirety of humanity, from this hallowed platform, Radio Biafra, here in Israel, may we all, the light of this very earth, may we all in IPOB, every Biafran, regardless of where you are, hold lovingly in our thoughts those who, like ourselves, are suffering from tyranny, subjugation, cruelty, and injustice. We must rededicate ourselves to working every day towards the alleviation of the suffering of those who are less fortunate than ourselves. May we recognize our solidarity even with strangers in our midst, because we are scattered all over the world. May we also remember the outcasts, the downtrodden, the abused, and the deprived, that no human being be treated as any other, that our common humanity binds us together in one fabric of mutuality, one garment of destiny. May we pursue the scriptural edicts, the vision of peace, that we might live harmoniously with one another and side by side, respecting differences, cherishing our diversity, with no one exploiting the weak, each living without fear of the other, each revering divinity in every human soul. May we struggle against institutional injustice, free those from oppression and contempt, act with purity of heart and mind, despising none, defrauding none, hating none, cherishing everybody, honoring every child of Elohim, every creature of the earth. May all Biafran people, the nation of Biafra, and all her peoples know peace in this new year. And may we nurture kindness and love everywhere to the glory, adoration, and exaltation of Elohim. Now and forevermore we pray. Ise, Ise, Ise. Thank you very much. And may we proceed to present on this very day, the very first day of January in the year of our Lord 2019, my New Year's message to the world, but especially to IPOB. Fellow Biafrans, friends of Biafra, and lovers of freedom all over the world, on behalf of the global family of IPOB, I welcome you all to 2019. And I know it is a year bristling with hope for our most divine and Elohim ordained quest to restore the freedom stolen from us by the oppressor and her local agents within the colonially constructed evil contraption we have come to know as Nigeria. I bring you this New Year's message from the Holy Land of Israel with a combined sense of triumph, sadness, and hope. My sadness, which I am sure you all share with me, stems from the ultimate sacrifices some of us have had to make in pursuit of our rights to self-determination. Today, as we usher in the new year, let us spare a thought for all our heroes fallen. And I sit here to say before thee that they did not die in vain. They died in honor and duty to Biafra, to justice and to freedom. And to those injured in limbs and body, and those still detained illegally, we say that this family of yours, Ipob, is with you. Your plight is our plight, your pain remains our pain, and we will never abandon anybody, because here in Ipob we do not abandon our own. When we say we are one family, we mean it. We are one family bound in blood and in bone, dedicated to the sacrifice that is to be made for the restoration of Biafra that Elohim has promised us, that his will may be done upon our lives. For it has been said that the bravest are surely those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and yet notwithstanding go out to meet it. I am indeed proud of this Ipob. I am proud of all of you. I cannot express it in words how elated and how honored I am to serve you. That name Ipob will exist as long as there is man on the face of this very planet. Forever and ever, every generation to come will reference this period in our time the same way Israel referenced 1948, as when the mercy of the Most High descended from heaven upon his children, that light may come in the darkest recesses of Africa. I am indeed very proud of Ipob for your courage of conviction, for your strength of character, and for standing up to tyranny when it mattered most. Other people fell by the wayside. Other ethnicities joined in the persecution of the innocent. But Ipob stood strong and said, no, that evil is evil. It must be resisted. It must be countered. It must be pushed back. For evil cannot stand the test of time. Shame on those supporting the evil that APC represents, that the government of Nigeria represents. As I have said before, and I will repeat tonight, there is something evil at the heart of the soul of a black man residing in Nigeria. There is something abhorrent about it. And that is why Ipob is different. That is why we stand up to evil, no matter where it's coming from. I assure you all tonight that Biafra shall come, and very soon at that. And we shall find lasting comfort in it. I have no doubt whatsoever. Those who know me know this about me, that everything I say I am going to do, I do it. When I tell you that Biafra is coming, Biafra is coming, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. This year we will set the yardstick for accomplishing this very noble task. for all of you principal officers of state, our esteemed journalists, those of you in family writers, those of you in Biafra writers, in Imuchuku writers, in TBRV, the sunrise crew that wakes up us every morning, and our e-warriors that never sleep, my own very astute and able Deputy Chairman for our own indefatigable Directorate of State led by the ever-reliable Mazichike Dosiem, our Head of Finance, Lolo Nenayanyam, our Biafra Land Coordinator, each and every unit, zonal, local government, state and national coordinator all over the world, I want you all to know that I am very proud of each and every one of you. The work you are doing is exceptional. It is not expected of African people to be so determined, to be so resolute, to be so humble in pursuit of what is glorious. Africans always fall by the wayside when it comes to the pursuit of freedom. But you have demonstrated a will, passion, and desire to do the will of the Most High. The work you are doing is exceptional. Together we achieved so much in 2018. And if your level of hard work and dedication can be sustained only for the first quarter of this year, 2019, I assure you that Biafra will be here sooner rather than later. The past few years hasn't been easy for us. And as most of you can recall, this is my first New Year's address to you since 2015. As we all know, through the past 4 years, circumstances ranging from my unlawful arrest and detention by the APC government of the dead Buhari, now championed by Jubril al-Sudani, from the tribulations of Ahanes and Igbo governors, their attempt to assassinate me, which culminated in the deadly military invasion of my home on the 14th of September 2017, that led to the loss of 28 of our gallant men. All these incidents have over the years prevented me from addressing you, the ever-resolute and faithful IPOB worldwide family. Since 2015 and all through to the end of 2017, we have faced the worst persecutions and acts of state terrorism ever unleashed on a people. Ironically, and in total defiance of reason and logic, the Nigerian judiciary conspired with the executive to label IPOB, that has never ever killed anyone, a terrorist organization, whereas the bloodthirsty Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, which is the cover that Fulani terrorists, headsmen use to commit impunity, they have been rampaging through swathes of the Middle Belt with the active connivance of the government of Nigeria and their media, where sometimes the Nigerian media, especially Yoruba media, celebrates them as opinion leaders. How sad is that? In the face of all these hypocrisies and moral contradictions, in the face of all this hypocrisy after hypocrisy and moral contradictions, we Biafrans have exercised uncommon restraint and continue to demonstrate to the world our commitment to peaceful and lawful agitation, by avoiding the temptation and all entreaties to resort to armed struggle. We have chosen this path because we trust in a new international order that is committed to helping all oppressed peoples to realize their right to self-determination as long recognized by international and municipal statutes and conventions. Rather than weaken or tear us apart, the hardships we have all faced in these past years of persecution by the primitively totalitarian APC government of Nigeria and internal collaborators in Ohaneze Ndigbo have brought us together as a people and have motivated us to dig ever deeper into our huge reserves of resilience to keep moving this restoration project forward, to the surprise of our enemies and saboteurs alike. We have confounded all those that thought that I, Nnamdi Kanu, and IPOB would go the way of those that went before us. Now they know we cannot be bought or sold like a commodity, unlike those that shout Biafra during the day only to serve the interest of the corrupt government of the zoo at night. If you are not with IPOB, you are not involved in Biafra agitation. You are only a slave for the zoo. Those that mortgage their soul and conscience to the demon of avarice and self-enrichment at the expense of the well-being of the masses will answer for their sins at the appropriate time. They will be held responsible. Everybody will account for his stewardship at the right time. Using the name of Biafra to endear yourselves to politicians is a crime, and we will not tolerate it. I stand here today to reaffirm that we remain whiter than white and whiter than snow. Only IPOB can make such a boast. Those who are in the habit of using our agitation for Biafra restoration to endear themselves to positions in order to obtain financial reward should have no business with freedom fighting. Issuing meaningless press statements designed to curry favor with the same discredited politicians responsible for our misery will only hasten the demise of such individuals or group. Some of these unknown quantities struggling to remain relevant only rush off to the press to issue a statement. They are not on the ground. They have not fought any battles. They have not witnessed any encounter with the armed forces of the zoo. But they somehow think that by issuing statements that they are fighting for Biafra, they are only deceiving themselves. If there is something we are certain of in the year 2019, it is the fact that voting will be boycotted, starting with the presidential elections. There will be no voting in Biafra land. Come the presidential elections, everywhere will be paralyzed. Everywhere will be paralyzed. They must understand this. Okezie Ikpeazu will be removed from office as the governor of Abia State because of the role he played in initiating Operation Pattern Dance that killed hundreds of our people. This same Okezie Ikpeazu is responsible for the illegal detention without trial of our Biafran Jews currently in detention in Umuahia. A crime for which Okezie Ikpeazu and his supporters will never ever be forgiven. Anybody supporting Okezie Ikpeazu is an enemy of the people. I don't care who you are. Allow me to repeat. Anybody supporting Okezie Ikpeazu is an enemy of IPOB and of the Biafran people. Some of you have rushed to him to collect money, claiming you are one pro-Biafra group or the other. You then rushed off to some newspaper publications to give them money to write whatever rubbish that is coming out of your mouth. Let me warn you, if you think you have what it takes, come down to Abia State and raise any poster of Okezie Ikpeazu. That day you will know that IPOB owns Biafra land. We will set an example with you. The best you can do is to go to a newspaper and be chatting rubbish all day long. You cannot come on the ground in Biafra land and do those nonsense you're mouthing off somewhere in Lagos. You cannot do it. I know some of you are very poor, both physically and in the spirit. You have this insatiable void within you. You feel that acquiring material wealth from politicians might feel, but you are mistaken. Anybody who comes out to defend Okezie Ikpeazu will be in serious trouble, and their name will go down in history as those that rose against the will of the people. If you don't want to be one of them, just stay clear of IPOB and what we are doing. Okezie Ikpeazu must fall, regardless of what his handlers and controllers from Sokoto Caliphate does with INEC. Okezie Ikpeazu will fall. If Okezie Ikpeazu doesn't fall, the world will bear us witness as to what will become of Abia State. If you're investing in Okezie Ikpeazu becoming the governor of Abia State, you're going to lose your money. You're wasting your time. We said we're going to boycott elections, but you see Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu must be removed to serve as a warning to others that their excesses will one day count against them. No amount of state-sponsored rigging through INEC. We know Fulani, Islam, they control INEC. We know that they control the army, they control the police, they control everybody. We know. And they have made up their mind to put their boy back into office. Okezie Ikpeazu. A monumental disgrace. A man that has done nothing for 4 years, only to invite our Fulani to kill us. Some of you don't know. They killed us in National High School, Aba. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten what happened during Operation Python Dance too? All those in support of Okezie Ikpeazu, all those criminals running to the media to write nonsense in support of Okezie Ikpeazu. Did you not hear about Amnesty report? Those they killed and threw into a borrow pit and poured acid on them? Is it because you've not picked up arms yet? Have you forgotten about the bodies discovered in Okwa? Have you forgotten? All under one single man, Okezie Ikpeazu, and you're telling me that you're supporting him. If you are strong, come out on the streets of Abia State and tell me you're Okezie Ikpeazu supporter. You see what will happen to you. INEC will not save Okezie Ikpeazu from the ignominy that awaits him. Nobody can save him. His Hausa friends have assured him, oh, his Fulani friends, because Hausa doesn't exist. They have assured him, oh, don't worry. You will go back. INEC is that will rig you back. You are all wasting your time. Anyway, we are looking for an excuse all this while. Rig Okezie Ikpeazu in, and then you see what will happen to you. Before IPOB came, there was nothing left of our dignity and self-respect as a people. You go to Ipob, they'll say, oh, I'm not Igbo. You go to Anioma, somebody from Onuchubo will tell you, oh, I'm not Igbo. Somebody from Umunede will say, oh, no, I'm not Igbo. You go to Anang, you go to Efik lands, and they tell you, no, we are different. But since the coming of IPOB, we have united our people under one common banner, under one common mission, to set everybody free. I repeat, to set everybody free. I repeat, before the emergence of IPOB, there was nothing left of an Igbo man and a Efik, a Joe, useless, trampled upon. You go begging to the north. But thanks to IPOB, you have now regained your dignity. Because we are unbuyable. Because IPOB is formidable. We remain the largest mass movement on the face of the earth, bar none. Bar none. Now that Chukwuemeka Biafra has determined that we should come, our various ethnic nationalities that constitute the historic and ancient Biafran Federation are now more united than ever. The high level of togetherness, bonding, and sense of purpose amongst the people of Biafra as a result of the activities of IPOB has ensured that Anang Igbo, Ibibio, Efik, Ijo, Isoko, Ishekiri Robo, Igala Idoma, and Igede are now walking with a sense of purpose never before witnessed in the history of our people. That is what Elohim has done using IPOB. Now you understand when we say one family, what we mean by that. The Biafran dilemma and the tragedy of what Nigeria has been turned into have reached the point where the world can no longer afford to be silent. As the renowned English philosopher Edmund Burke said, and it is often true, that, and I quote, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. That is why impunity and evil has befallen the zoo and nobody is talking. If you rise up to speak against tyranny and oppression, they put you in prison. And when they put you in prison without trial, you have judges, magistrates, rubber stamping the dictatorial pronouncements of a Sudanese in Asorok. Tomorrow they wear that wig looking like a torotoro, walking about everywhere claiming that they are my learned man, my learned sister, my learned brother. A bunch of illiterate fools. A Sudanese giving you orders from Asorok. Oh, lock up this person, lock up that person, lock up Dinomala. You go and rush and lock them up. The likes of Femi Fani-Kayode who are speaking is under the threat of arrest. Everybody, once you rise up to speak, you are condemned. And my greatest pain is that Yoruba media condone this evil. I have said this to Yoruba people, with the exception of the likes of Ayadebanji and a few of them who are honorable men. Honorable men. There are honorable men in Yoruba land. You see Yoruba media, your judgment is coming. And when that judgment comes, there will be nobody to save you. Mark my words today. Because of the duplicitousness of Yoruba media, the Yoruba race will suffer. Write it down somewhere and say, Nnamdi Kanu told you so. On the 1st of January 2019, the Yoruba race will suffer because Yoruba media are evil. They support evil. They will die inside evil because they want presidency. They want access to oil. They want us to keep on trading in Lagos. Because of that, they are prepared to lick the boots of Fulani people in this quest to subdue and subjugate truth, which is what IPOB represents, as a matter of fact. Since time, starting from 2015, the level and amount of terrorism unleashed from the Nigerian Sahel, Fulani land, and the Maghreb has ravaged entire communities, including Biafrans. See what is happening in the Middle Belt. And what I find astonishing is the fact that there are some people within the Middle Belt talking about elections, talking about voting. I read something that was quite moving a few days ago. Somebody said that Nigerians are like sheep. I said, what do you mean? I know they're animals, but what do you mean by sheep? He said, because when you come to feed them, you know a sheep, when you're coming to feed a sheep, that sheep is very happy to see you. But the sheep doesn't know that the reason why the shepherd is feeding him or her, as the case may be, is to get you fat so they can slaughter you. You see a goat when you come, when you go, let us get something for this goat to eat. You're not doing it because you love the goat, you're doing it because you want to fatten the goat and prepare it for slaughter. That is what is happening in the Middle Belt. I feel sorry for them because I had hoped, or should I say reasoned, that by now a complete and utter repudiation, a rejection of everything to do with Nigeria will be the most logical position to adopt. But people are talking about voting. Tinubu is using what I call the Yoruba media preponderance, their undue influence in the media, because every major newspaper house has a headquarters in Lagos, controlled by Yoruba people. They are feeding you lies. They are lying to you, deceiving you, massaging your pain, telling you, oh, don't worry, election will solve everything. But all of a sudden, you have discovered that they are pushing for the same person responsible for your pain, or should I say, the same group of cabal responsible for your pain. Almost every Yoruba paper is supporting APC. They want the Sudanese to continue in power. They want Abba Kyari to be pulling the strings from behind the scenes. That is the truth they will not tell you, but it is the truth that Nnamdi Kanu will tell you every blessed day. I have Yoruba friends, and I love them exceedingly. But I must speak the truth, the same way I expect them to tell me the truth about Biafran people. When I look at the injustices happening in Nigeria, when I look at the lies, the deception, and the fraud being committed by Yoruba media, I feel sorry for our people, especially those living in Lagos and those unfortunate enough to be born there. To make matters worse, the Nigerian presidency has either failed to protect its own citizens or has itself become complicit and unleashed terror on those that actually voted for them, thus stoking the notion that some group that controls the levers of state power have set out to subjugate others in a Nigeria that was never meant to be this way. Do you see how cleverly, of course with the advice of the British, how the Fulanis have covered every market? They decide if you live or if you die. They decide who rules or who doesn't rule you. And have you also noticed how very cleverly the Yorubas have always supported the Fulanis? Do you all know that in modern, should I say, when I say modern, let me say from say 1963 onwards to this very date, Yorubas have never, ever before voted for anybody from Biafra. They never voted for Jonathan. They never did. They didn't vote for Azikiwe. When Ekweme came out to contest, of course, it was their turn because of Abiola. They never voted for our people. And they will never, ever vote for you. Can you imagine the effrontery? Obasanjo was in power for 8 years, and after that 8 years, now Usibajo, a Yoruba man, is the vice president to a Sudanese. Upon all of that, no Igbo man has never been recommended to be the president of Nigeria. Even at that, Yorubas are saying that they are going to vote for a Fulani man so that the presidency will return to Yoruba land again in 2023.
It is recognized that you are not.
I have no interest in zoo politics. Neither does IPOB. But we are pointing all these things out so that you know that the injustice you're facing is entrenched. They will never love you. I'm saying this thing for a job, for a BBO, for Anang, for Efik. All of you people, without Biafra, you're doomed. You're finished. Go to Ogoni land. Ken Sere-Wiwa thought he could work out something with Fulani people. Today he's in the grave. They said Ogoni flag off, Ogoni clean off, Ogoni sweep off. What has happened? Nothing. But there are some people in Iguacha, in River State, contemplating voting. Do you see how foolish your lives are? When we say you are baboons, you are animals, you don't quite understand it. You say I'm insulting you. I'm not insulting you. It's because you can't reason very well. You are like that hungry sheep that they are fattening up for slaughter. Not because Fulani they love you. No, of course not. They use their Yoruba media friends to tell you what you want to hear so that you can hate the only person who can save you. We must continue because the right thing to do. Better yet, in the face of all these tribulations, there's a solution. We are not agitating for Biafra for no reason. There is a reason and there is a solution. Britain put Nigeria together so they can do what is called proxy colonialism. So they can control you through a people who are loyal to them. Some of you forgot that before Buhari died, Britain supported Buhari. Whereas Buhari had an outstanding warrant for his arrest by Interpol inside Britain. Britain still supported him. You have forgotten that Buhari ordered for the kidnap of Omar Diko and put him in a crate. It was discovered. And Buhari was blacklisted by the British government. But when it came to the position of the president of the zoo, they chose Buhari because he's Fulani. Fulani will always cooperate with them, will always work with them. Not that there's anything that the Fulanis can do that Biafrans cannot do, no. But Britain feels that Biafrans are intelligent. Allowing intelligent people to run Nigeria means that Nigeria will become a viable country. And they don't want that. They don't want it. That is why they don't want Biafra. They are afraid that the emergence of Biafra will prove once and for all time that a black man is not that stupid after all. Everybody knows in their heart of hearts that there is no way a Fulani man can move Nigeria forward. It is impossible. Talk less of a Sudanese. There is a solution. And what is that solution? If truth be told, societies can only progress when among competing ideas they choose the most progressive of the lot. Once you choose the progressive idea, the best. So that's why America is going forward, even Israel. Do you know in Israel, if they don't jail their prime minister, they're not happy? Are they not pursuing Netanyahu now? Netanyahu, they're pursuing him. Israel wants to prove to you that we sent you into office to go and serve us. Any day you step out of the line, you go to prison. Israel, they love jailing their prime minister and their ministers. I don't know why. But in the zoo, Buhari died, buried in Saudi Arabia. They brought a look-alike from Sudan. All of you are jumping up. And I'm saying to all of you that went to the rally of Jubril, look at his left ear. Look at the palm of his hand. He's no longer waving. Nobody's complaining. Oh, it's nothing. Because a white man hasn't said it yet. And when I tell you people that you are inferior, you start complaining. This is even more so when societies have the benefit of hindsight. Nigeria cannot be an exception to what has worked elsewhere. We, the indigenous people of Biafra, have proposed and still proposing the only idea that will halt Nigeria's spiral towards bloody implosion. If things continue the way they are, there's going to be a war. I'm telling you this. It's unsustainable. It's not just possible. It's unsustainable. Sending police to go and fight terrorists, sending the army to go and kill civilians in the south. What sort of people are they normal? Are you sure they are normal? And Nigerians, are you people okay? And the people, Yoruba papers are carrying on as if nothing is wrong. So you don't think, oh my goodness me. Yeah? So as Israel is securing the border around Gaza, now they send the police and then send the army to come and be controlling traffic in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. I can't understand it. So police can go to the war front, but not and the army will go to be setting up checkpoints. Oh dear me. Oh dear me. Somebody should explain, is that normal? Is it normal? But why can't ordinary Nigerians see it? Are they blind? How can you, I don't know, send police to the war front and then send army to go and conduct elections? I can't get my head around it. Honestly. We, the indigenous people of Biafra, have proposed and still proposing that the only idea that will halt the bloody disintegration of the zoo is a referendum for everybody. What is wrong with asking people what they want? This cabal ruling the zoo, they're not up to 20. But they control your mind. They control the minds of the Yorubas through Tinubu and his newspapers and his media presence. And an ordinary Yoruba person cannot see beyond his nose. Do you know why? His fear is of Igbo man. Try to understand what I'm saying. A Yoruba man can no longer reason because the sum of all his fears is in an Igbo man. That's all he's interested in, an Igbo man. So if you tell them, oh, but can we open the seaport in Calabar? They say, no, an Igbo man will benefit. No. Can we open the seaport in Iguacha in Port Harcourt? No, it will benefit an Igbo man. Okay. Can I then fly from Iguacha to Los Angeles? No, because an Igbo man will benefit. What the Yorubas are doing is cutting off their nose to spite their face. As long as an Igbo man is down, anything is possible. If Fulani can eat all the money in the zoo, nobody gives a damn. Do you see the mess we are in? I'm not saying every Yoruba person is like that, no. There are some Igbo people who are worse. There are Igbo people who are worse, who will trade our slave status for one ministerial appointment. That's what they've been doing. You will see them now, they will say, oh, it is this person's turn. Oh, why don't we bring out somebody to go and do this? One person will run to his friend in Funtua and say, I know how to undermine my brother, don't worry. Is it not happening in Biafra agitation? I will say something about Okezi as an idiot from somewhere looking for money to complete the roofing of his house. will go and issue a statement in the newspapers to the effect that, oh, okay, Zikbas, we are not part of them, oh. But you say you're a Biafran. And you saw what Zikbas did to Biafrans. And because some of you unconscionable leaders of Masop, you think they can kill, oh, because they killed Masobians and you did nothing. Because of that, you think that Nnamdi Kanu will allow IPOB family members to be killed and not hold anybody responsible? Do you see how foolish you are? One idiot was lacking money. He's building a house. Roofing. He's seeking to buy Cameroon zinc. And the only way he can do it is by appearing to counter what IPOB is saying. The idiot is finished. Completely finished. Complete and total. If he's strong, let him come and campaign for Zikbas openly. He'll be torn to shreds with bare hands. And a man cob. Only referendum can save the bloody implosion of the zoo. Only a referendum. One day the Yorubas will overcome their envy and fear of an Igbo man. One day. Because the pain and hardship will be too much for them to bear as well. They must conduct a referendum on self-determination for Biafrans and indeed any other organized and cohesive group that demands it. That is the only fair way, not through federalism, not devolution, not restructuring, no. To drive home our demand, IPOB will ensure that the entire land of Biafra is paralyzed on whatever date they choose to hold their presidential elections. This position is irreversible unless our simple demand is met. Do you know why the presidential election is very, very key? That day the whole world will be watching. No longer like Anambra that nobody's interested in. The world will be watching. And we will paralyze Biafra land. If you want to be free of the chains of slavery and bondage in the zoo, boycott presidential elections and the zoo will crumble to your tent, O Israel. Go and vote and you renew your license. Forget all the devil says, oh, it's your right, it's your democratic right. What dividend? Those pastors telling you rubbish, they are doing it. We are going to boycott. Come, bring your army and shoot. Then you see what will happen to your army in our land. I'm not telling you not to shoot. Come to our land and kill us. And then you see what will happen. Even Britain will abandon you. A bunch of mad, cattle-heading tribe. While others are busy pontificating on the pages of newspapers or selling their soul to the highest bidder in Abuja, IPOB, only IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra, only IPOB. Today you are part of Nigeria movement. The next day you're no brain. Only IPOB. If you want to be free, IPOB. It doesn't matter who you are. Come, join IPOB or start one where you are. Everybody will be free. What we are pursuing is freedom for everybody, not just for Biafrans. I said for everybody. I have said it time and time again. Take the bloody oil and gas. We don't need it. We don't need oil and gas. What for? We have our brain. Yoruba, if oil is your problem, take it. I know that Fulani cannot live without oil and gas. Come and take it. We don't need it. We just want to be free. Freedom is all we're asking for. Not natural resources. They write long essays and not speak because they research it for weeks. Write brilliant grammar. All comes to zero, to naught. Doesn't make any sense. Sometimes I wonder what they study at the zoo universities that they attend. Only IPOB is on this long walk to set Biafra free. We are black people in sub-Saharan Africa will, for the first time since colonization, live under guaranteed freedoms and rights, unlike the primitive arrangement people are forced to live under in Nigeria. We are not going to get there overnight, I know that. But in this 2019, we will make some of our most significant strides yet to accomplish our stated mission, which is to restore Biafra. We must always be guided by the reasoning that underpins our belief that Nigeria as presently constituted is unworkable. By virtue of their orientation and heritage, the dominant ruling Arewa Northern Nigeria with their feudal societal structure is not designed to understand or practice democracy. A Fulani man can never be a Democrat. It's impossible. It's like introducing democracy in Saudi Arabia. It is not possible. It is incompatible with their core religious beliefs. Incompatible. How can you have Sharia and democracy? Does that make sense to anybody? In the 11 states of Fulani controlled Awasa North, you have 11 states on Sharia, and then you have democracy. Does that make sense to anybody? Does that make sense to anybody? The laws of Sharia come from the Quran. The laws of the secular state goes into a constitution. So which one are you going to believe? You heard Binta Nyako talk about Sharia law. Sharia law is from Islam, it's from the Quran. I don't know, am I making any sense at all? I don't know how people reason sometimes. I don't understand it. By virtue of their orientation and heritage, Fulani people with their feudalism in their areas, they can never understand the meaning of democracy. That's why some of them came out and said, oh, this Biafra agitation, we should suspend the constitution. And he says he's a professor of law. They don't understand the essence of a constitution. That's why they don't obey it. Why do you think before Buhari died, he never obeyed any court order? Because to them he's alien. All they know is Sharia. And so telling them that man can make laws that may infringe on the laws that Quran said Muhammad made, you have a very serious problem. Very big problem. Now, how can I be in some country with such people? Not that I hate them, but the way you do things are markedly different to how I do things as well. They're not the same, and I can never be. Fulani can never practice democracy. That is why they will rig the elections. Do you know that I read somewhere that the former INEC chairman called Nuhu Ribadu, or whatever his name is, that he's in support of Jubril. I shed tears. That tells you the mindset of your average Fulani man. No matter how poorly they are performing, a Fulani man will always gravitate towards a Fulani man. And the Yorubas will follow them, because Yorubas are controlled by the Fulani people as well, because most of them are Muslims, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the spiritual head of Muslims in the zoo is who? He's the Sultan of Sokoto. So they have to be loyal to Sultan of Sokoto, of course. Do you see the mess that the zoo is in? By virtue of the orientation, I keep saying, they cannot practice democracy. This was one of the greatest mistakes the likes of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe made. Nnamdi Azikiwe is a brilliant man, intelligent to the finest of his time. But he made one fundamental error. The fact that black people have black skin doesn't mean we are all one people. It doesn't mean that. Are all white people the same? Do you know that the social welfare system in France cannot work in Britain? One believes in pure free market economy, the other one believes in intervention from the state. That is called the Keynesian and the Smith school. The supply siders and the demand siders. You've heard about Keynes, haven't you, in economics? And you heard about Adam Smith. These are two opposing schools of thought in economics. That you can use demand to stimulate the economy, or that you cannot actually allow supply to determine what happens within an economy. Laissez-faire and interventionist approach. Britain opts for the more middle ground, I would say laissez-faire approach. Whereas in France, they believe in intervening. Two of them can even be in the same country. Didn't UK leave the EU? These are white Christians, democratic nations in Europe. They don't agree. Talk less of people that don't know the meaning of democracy. That is what I'm trying to get black Africans to understand, that your value system is what binds you together. That's what glues you together. Not because a white man said so, because Lugard said, you, from today your name is Nigeria. You don't have to agree with it. Because Ted Heath that took Britain to EU is dead. Today, was it not Cameron that brought them out of it? Of course, it's got to be Theresa May. These are the things that blacks don't understand. When I attend lectures in England, when my lecturer is speaking, I listen. I don't regurgitate every nonsense in the textbook. I listen and I reason. These are the things lacking in black people, and we are seeking to correct that this very year. Nnamdi Azikiwe made a very big mistake. The social arrangement they have in northern Nigeria makes it impossible for their leaders to appreciate and respect democratic values, such as you have somebody respecting the rule of law. They cannot. Freedoms and liberties, they don't know the meaning of it. That is why a 70-year-old man can marry a 13-year-old girl by force. That is why Boko Haram came out and said no to Western education. They forced their views of life on other people. We are Republicans, we don't do it. And can never, ever do it. These noble ideas of democracy are incompatible with Sharia. The sooner you understand this, the better. As long as you have Sharia, you cannot be a Democrat. Anywhere there is Sharia, anywhere in the world, they are not Democrats. The sooner Yoruba media understand this, the better. But of course, there are Yoruba Muslims that crave and yearn for Sharia. True federalism, particularly in Nigeria, is unrealistic. Where 12 states have already adopted Sharia as state religion and code of justice, which denies non-adherence of that religion certain freedoms guaranteed by the military-imposed Nigerian constitution. Isn't it very ironic? You have the constitution of Abdul Salami Abubakar, the militaristic constitution of 1999, where the provisions of the constitution is at odds with Sharia in the north. The Sharia overrides the constitution, whereas the constitution is meant to be the all and all. Do you understand what I don't know if people understand what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not explaining it very well this evening. I don't know. I said, you have a constitution. They make laws. You know, Ike Kureman and all the rest of them. They say, yeah. And they share their 18 million every month. And they go home. They make laws. Those laws, where they are in contradiction with the Sharia of the 12 Fulani states in the north, all that nonsense in the Senate is rubbish. They throw it away. If not, why would they destroy you and I in the same country? Ikechukwu is here with me, so I'm using him as an example. I don't drink. I don't like alcohol, but Ikechukwu drinks and he likes alcohol. When Ikechukwu goes out to buy alcohol, he pays tax on it, and they use that alcohol to treat me. They tax on the alcohol to give me treatment. But Ikechukwu comes to my hometown. Maybe they transferred him as a worker to my hometown. He, on entering my hometown, he was caught somewhere drinking beer, and they arrested him and jailed him. And I, the beneficiary of the VAT from his drinking, is in support of his incarceration. I don't know if that makes any sense to any human being. That's what's happening in the north. they say you shouldn't drink beer. You can see them destroying cartons upon cartons and bottles of beer. But Kano State is the largest beneficiary of VAT. But Yoruba media will not say anything about it. Do you see how evil Nigeria is? You rob Peter to pay Paul. If I go to drink beer, you say I'm a Nigerian, but I cannot go to Kano to drink beer openly. Why? Is there any law stopping me from consuming any beverage? The answer is no. Why are you stopping me in Kano, where you benefit directly from the VAT coming from beer sales? Only in Nigeria. Conversely, restructuring has defied every sensible definition. Nobody can define it. That is why simple referendum is the only way forward. Come to think of it, was it not a federal arrangement or through federation that Nigeria had at independence? But it did not even survive up to 6 years. What then is the new true federalism that world is talking about? I want to know. Explain it to us. Restructuring, let them leave Biafra and join restructuring. Restructure what to what? From what to what? I'm asking you. What are you restructuring? Oh, you mean an additional state where one of your Awasa slaves will be the governor, answering to Awasa people with a Fulani police inspector. With a Fulani police inspector. That when IPOB decide to march on the street, they destroy us. We don't believe in restructuring. Restructuring will become unworkable because it failed in the past. What we need is a referendum. Let the people decide the type of country they want to have. I have nothing against those wishing to live under the Fulanized British colonial contraption called Nigeria, as most Yoruba and Fulani people do. What I resent is the inability, or should I say, the unreasonableness of the chattering class in Nigeria to come to the inescapable realization that no country with a myriad of divergent value systems can peacefully coexist as a nation state. It is impossible. And I am impossible. This elementary political philosophy that everybody ought to know about, every political scientist ought to know this. Everybody knows this. What determines those you fuse together is your value system. Not even your religion, your value system. I believe in freedom, and Awasa man doesn't believe in freedom. So my daughter can play football for Nigeria, but the daughter of a Hajia in the north cannot play football because you don't want another man to see her legs. Does that make any sense to anybody? Some of these things are there, but you have refused to reason. This is why I call you Zoo. You have refused to reason. Meaningful human development in Nigeria is impossible because the Fulani feudal mindset, Yoruba monarchical system, because there they have monarchy, you know, they have all this Kabiesi, and the Republican disposition of Biafrans are forever irreconcilable value systems that will ensure the unworkability of Nigeria as a country from now till the kingdom come. I am a Republican. My Yoruba friends believe in their monarchy. They bow down when they see somebody. I like that. It's a sign of respect. I love it. Awasa Fulani believe in whatever it is that they be feudal. What's that thing they do in the north? Rankadede. In the morning you come with your bowl no, you come with your empty bowl, and Alhaji will give you porridge you eat. You will do Rankadede. You don't go to school. That is why they have nomadic schools and Alamajiri schools that Jonathan funded extensively. Why do you think they have all of that? They don't believe that men are born equal in the north. If you're born a street beggar, you will give birth to a street beggar. That's what they believe in the North. That's why they have nomadic schools and nomadic schools. But where we come from, everybody wants to better themselves. Equality across the board. They don't have it in the North. And let me ask you, they say Nigeria is a republic, which is an anomaly. How can Nigeria be a republic with all this, His Royal Highness this, Lower Highness that? How is that possible? Even they've not even resolved that very simple contradiction. You don't know if you, all the Royal Highnesses that you have, of course my father included, does it mean we are living in a monarchical system or we are living in a republican system? I can't get it. Even that simple contradiction, you cannot even resolve it. I want to talk about restructuring. In America, do you have kings and chiefs? This is king this of this. This is her royal majesty of this. Because America is a republican state. It's a republic, so to speak. France is a republic. England is not a republic. Britain is not. That's why you have the Duke of Devonshire. You have the Duchess of Kent and all the rest of them. You have the Queen. The same as them. You have monarchs, same as Denmark. Here you don't know if you're a republic or if you're a monarchy. You have no idea. And you want to dabble into restructuring. You cannot even solve a simple problem. You want to go into restructuring. Misguided people, poorly educated people, I hasten to add. This is pure elementary philosophy. Everybody knows this. Irreconcilable value systems. It is tantamount to fusing. Imagine bringing England, Saudi Arabia and USA into one country. Is that possible? Is that possible? That's what they're trying to do to us. You bring a part of Afghanistan, you bring a part of Kenya, you bring people from USA, you mix them together and say, oh, now you are one country, your name is Nigeria. It's not possible, because the way a Fulani man solves a problem is different from how I will solve it as a Biafran. Simple and short. It will never ever work. It's like I just want you to imagine this: transplanting a portion of sword-wielding Kandahar province in Afghanistan, a piece of the monarchy supporting East Anglia in England, and a part of the Republican gun-loving libertarian Texas in the USA, and form one country out of it. In the morning, you ask a Texan to courtesy to bow before the Queen or bow before the King. He'll probably shoot you first of all. You don't know that those that founded the USA are from England? You don't know that? What did they leave? They said all men were created equal by God. No king, no queen. They went to, these are English people. They went to America. They founded a new nation. It was a child of an English man, migrant, George Washington, that liberated them from England. People and their useless sentiment. They said we are Americans now. So you don't know that America is the extension of England? But they said we don't need queen, we don't need king, we don't need your highness, your lowness, we don't need your lordship here. Everybody's hi, hello, hi, hello. If you won't answer, you go. And now you begin to understand it, isn't it? Maybe we should be charging people for coming to IPOB to listen to Radio Biafra. This is the best university in the whole world, bar none. Bar none, and it is free. Courtesy of IPOB, it is free. It will be like returning humanity to some kind of Hobbesian, state of nature by Hobbes, where life will be truly hellish, brutish, and short. These same irreconcilable, divergent, and often conflicting conditions are what we are being forced to endure in the British artificially created Nigeria today, due to a combination of poor education, inability to reason properly, and dependency on one natural resource for national economic survival. Nigeria will never ever be a viable nation because the ethnicities the British cobbled together are not the same people and can never ever be. Even Britain, that created Nigeria, have respect for ethnic nationalities in their own country. Scotland and Wales have their own parliament. They make their own laws in their own languages. But Britain can never tell Awasa Fulani, allow these people to be free. No, never. But in your own country, Britain, Scotland is free from England. Wales is free from England. They have their own laws. They raise their own taxes. But Britain, England cannot advise Fulani to do the same thing. Do you know why? Because they don't see you black people as human beings. You are animals. Do you know that Scotland retains the right to become independent? Now, I'm asking Britain this. If Scotland can be allowed to determine their own future, why not Biafra? Oh, no, because the freedom they're talking about is for only white people. It's not for blacks. No, Biafra is black people. We control you. God gave you to us as our slaves. We do with you as we like. That was why we handed over to Fulani. We cannot colonize Nigeria directly, so we use the Fulani to do the colonization for us. Because they are dumb. They don't know anything. Name one Fulani scientist. Name one Fulani poet. Do you know any? Name one Fulani popular musician. Name one person. Don't even know if it's Arabic music or Fulani music. The British can give Scotland autonomy, but they cannot advise Fulani to do the same with Biafra. Ask yourself, why? Within the answer lies everything you're looking for. They are afraid of Biafra. They know that Biafra will put everybody to shame, with or without oil and gas. We don't need it. Fulani, I give you a challenge. Take all the oil and gas and give us our freedom. After 5 years, you'll be looking for a visa to come to Biafra land. And they know it. They know it. Ask yourself, why are the privileges enjoyed by Scotland not extended to Biafra? There lies the meaning and the answer to everything that you need to know regarding how you are regarded by the British. Perhaps Nigerians are subhumans, not deserving of such an opportunity. The way Nigeria and most other similarly backward states in Africa were created is not how nations are formed or created. We all know that. It's not how they are formed or created. These unnatural colonial experiments in Africa is the reason why the continent will continue to struggle until an intelligent breed of people rise up like Ipob to return it to its pre-colonial borders. Let everybody go back to where they were before the white man came, and you see progress in Africa overnight. Only then also will Africa know peace. With the benefit of hindsight and history, I make bold this very 1st of January 2019 evening to say that anything short of a referendum would be duplicitous and futile. The earlier people stopped deceiving themselves on this, the better for all oppressors and the oppressed alike. In my time since this struggle, I have come to the realization that Biafra means different things to different people. To northern Nigerian Muslims, especially the Fulbe elite, that's the Fulani elite, it means armed rebellion, as well as a design to deny them free will access to the vast oil and gas deposits we have in Biafra land. To the Yoruba, Biafra is a selfish desire by Igbos to control oil and gas. For the stranded middle belt minorities, Biafra signifies abandonment. I know, I can understand, and I share the fear of the middle belt. They fear the exit of Biafra will precipitate their inevitable annihilation at the hands of their Fulani overlords, who will blame them. Once Biafra goes and Wahanako Fuf, Fulani will slaughter them. So I understand. So they should come with us instead, and we will defend them. To us, to we, the children of light, Ipob, Biafra means a right to self-determination, self-preservation, and ultimately a right to become autonomous and live in peaceful neighborliness with anything from the north, be it Arewa or Nigeria, whatever it's called, in a new compact that will ensure prosperity and fairness to all sides. The path to what we desire and the non-violent means to achieving it is neither new nor treasonable, as the Nigerian presidency continues to believe. It is the same path that saw the birth of many new nations around the world, most notably after the end of the Cold War. It is the only path to peace. We have succeeded in dismantling the colonial divide and rule the British colonial masters introduced to their southern Nigeria, which the Fulani oligarchy perpetuated through their gerrymandering of our borders that divided Igbo families and turned them against each other. Today it is no longer in dispute that a 1K Igbo in Edo State, Abo in Delta State, and through to Asaba, Onisha, through to Ikwere and Opobo are all Igbo-speaking people and therefore of the same family. There is nothing like Delta Igbo. Mad people. We are one family. This year, 2019, we shall begin taking the first tangible steps into nationhood. We will do everything humanly possible to ensure our referendum is conducted this year. The process of extensive referendum consultation was not concluded in good time last year to enable us to hold it. Again, the cost implications made it impossible for us to complete the printing and production of our ballot papers, but we shall continue to work very hard to ensure its completion. Referendum is a very costly, resource-intensive exercise, and we want to get it right the first time because that will usher in the new Biafra government, even if it has to operate from outside the shores of Biafra land. The whole world knows that Nigeria is a glorified graveyard for talent and aspirations. Too many people have been stopped from attaining their potential in life because of the culture of mediocrity and impunity that permeate every sphere of human interaction in Nigeria. Stripped of every shred of honor and dignity, we march into the Mediterranean Sea to drown like lemmings off a cliff. After trekking through the unforgiving Sahara Desert, where the weak and unfortunate perish. This is the life of your average Nigerian youth with no hope or future. In response to the democratization of poverty and death in Nigeria, IPOB will be launching a social welfare public works scheme across the length and breadth of Biafra land in an effort to use our God-given talent and skills to develop and improve our land even prior to the coming of Biafra. Because political office holders we had hoped would do it for us are more preoccupied with stealing as much of our commonwealth as possible. We IPOB are going to do the little we can to stop our young people from trekking from our land to Europe that have resulted in the death of so many young people. This scheme will equally address the issue of lack of infrastructure as IPOB will embark on minor road repairs, the rehabilitation of dilapidated primary schools, maintenance of drainage systems in areas prone to flooding due to blockages in the sewage system like Aba, Owerri, Onisha, Abakaliki, and Iguacha. A welfare outreach team will be created to provide assistance in public places to those who cannot help themselves. There will be massive job creation in various sectors of the economy where raw materials can be locally sourced to help drive down the rate of unemployment, especially among young graduates. Our people, towns and villages will be our top priority as we begin to demonstrate the mindset that will guide us into Biafra. is no longer about saying IPOB one family. We are here to demonstrate that we are indeed one family. We are in discussions with Israeli businessmen to help facilitate the creation of high-tech farm settlements, small-scale industrial parks in Cross River, in Delta, Imo, Ebonyi, and Benue states for now. That's the kibbutzim that you have in Israel. We are going to recreate it. Should the scheme prove successful, which of course it will, we shall roll it out across Biafra land. The unmasking of Jubril al-Sudani, the fake zoo president, will continue unabated. By the time we are done with Jubril and his handlers, Lugard will be truly ashamed of what he created. I would like to see how Nigerians are going to participate in elections where one of the names on the ballot paper is a dead man buried in Saudi Arabia. It is a shame that Nigeria, the zoo, is heading ingloriously towards implosion. We understand the enemy has announced yet another round of Fulani military invasion of our land in the name of Operation Pattern Dance to help facilitate the rigging of elections for Jubril al-Sudani and the cronies of the Sokoto Caliphate across Nigeria. What I said previously still stands, and there is no going back. Chukwukika Biama is my witness that any reported shooting or killing of any Biafran by this Fulani Janjaweed army of the zoo will be avenged. Those who previously doubted our resolve should ask Okezi Bazo what he's feeling or going through right now in Abia State. I am placing our colonial master on notice, Britain. They are our colonial master till tomorrow morning. That should the government of Theresa May give the go-ahead for any innocent Biafran to be killed again on Biafran soil, Nigerian soldiers will pay the price for it. Let the world not say we didn't say it. This Nigerian army have refused to engage ISIS in the major theaters of battle in the north, in the Sahel. This same Nigerian army led by Buratai refused to counter the killing spree of Fulani headsmen across the Middle Belt, but they can easily mobilize the same army to come to the south, to come to Biafra land, to rig elections, FINEC, and for their friends, and to kill non-Muslim populations with impunity. That will not happen. Policemen are being forcibly deployed to face Boko Haram terrorists, whereas the army that prides itself as the defender of Nigeria, they are the ones running scared from the battlefield. Instead, they are being sent to kill civilians in order to sustain Fulani hegemonic control of the zoo called Nigeria. Everything in Nigeria is upside down. That is why I struggle to understand why there are universities in Nigeria, because people go to school but end up not learning anything. Is it the job of the police to fight insurgency? That's my question. The most astonishing thing is that people are going about their normal business, pretending all is well when logic is being turned on its head. Can anybody identify any country in the world where the police is sent to the war front and the army deployed to carry out police duties? No, it is only in Nigeria, with her ignorant professors and pseudo-intellectuals busy scavenging for campaign funding for elections, when impunity is now the order of the day. None of this is surprising. After all, Nigerians cannot differentiate between a dead Buhari and an impostor from Sudan. How can you expect them to distinguish between the constitutional roles of the police and that of the army? What APC have succeeded in doing is democratizing ignorance, impunity, and cowardice amongst the populace. Can anybody say precisely why Sheikh El Zagzagi, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, and Jewish adherents are still in prison till today? There is nothing about the judiciary in Nigeria that leads me to believe that Nigeria is salvageable. even the judiciary. So this evening, as we take stock of what we have passed through in the past year and in the years before it, let us continue to remain committed and faithful to the ideals of Biafra as espoused by IPOB, and prepare ourselves to be the first partakers of a Biafran nation that beckons and shall surely emerge in this generation. I thank you all for listening this evening, and may Elohim bless Biafra. May Elohim bless Israel and all men and women of goodwill around the world, but above all, may Chukwukika Biama bless IPOB.
Very gospel this evening. Biafra, and as I welcome you, please, this very fine evening, I ask you to welcome those who are around you. You can get us via my page on Facebook at Mazin Namdekano. We are on FM because those of you in Abuja, you are listening. I know that some of you in Abuja will not be joining us via Facebook this evening. They are listening via their radio. We are on 102.1 in Abuja. We are taking this very gospel to the very epicenter of Lucifer. We are going to the place where Satan is domiciled. And this evening there will be light in Abuja, I assure you. Light of the enlightening kind, not the one that comes from NEPA, because this one you can never ever extinguish. Those of you in Abuja, we welcome you to our broadcast. Those of you in Ipob, you are part of us, we welcome you. Those in Calabar are listening. Right across Biafra land, people are listening. Even as they send their Janjaweed Miyeti Yala terrorists to my house in Isiama Faruku, we are live and we are direct, and the whole world is listening. The commissioner of police in Abia cannot say she doesn't know about this. The governor cannot claim they don't know. Miyeti Yala are now part of the police and the army. They are all terrorists and they are encamped in front of my house. This very evening, we are reminding the whole world that they may know what is happening in the damnable Zoological Republic. We are live and we are direct. As I said earlier, if you do not have your pen and paper ready with you, you are doing yourself a great deal of disservice, because here you are going to learn the things you never learned before. Because of the nature of our program this evening, I will not take much of your time in our usual intro. I will proceed very quickly to go and pray, because we need to pray. Chukwukika Biama is in heaven. We give him every adoration and every glory. This evening we are going to pray from the book of Psalm. That is Psalm 52. We are going to pray because our freedom is very, very near. The forces of darkness are rising up. The children of hell, they are rising up from everywhere. We know what Loretta Noche is doing with some of them. People are very hungry. People are starving. They come from very poor backgrounds and they need money to survive. And that Sorok is providing it for them via Loretta Onochie. But this evening we shall go on to expose the darkness in the zoo, all the hidden things they have done. Because as we are live on air right now, they are panicking, of course, they are shaking. Wherever they are, they are wondering what revelation is the world going to hear this very day. But before we do any of that, we must go on to consult the Most High Chukwukika Biama Prumihenin, the creator of the heavens and the earth, without whom we could not have been here today. The same God of IPOB, the same God of Biafra. Please bow down your heads and let us pray. It was the prayer of David. The prayer of David when he went to the home of the Edomite, to where Saul had gone to. And David prayed to Elohim, and tonight we pray the same prayer. Why do you boast of evil, you mighty man? Why do you boast all day long, you who are a disgrace in the sight of God in heaven? We are talking about the Janjaweed, those who are converting terrorists to soldiers, those who are killing soldiers, and terrorists are now assuming their position and their place. We are talking about these boastful people, those who are in Asorok, the remnants of those who are alive, those who wear masks to deceive, those who lie to deceive over 200 million people. Oh, you deceitful tongue, this IPOB, they will see and they will fear. For we will laugh at them. We will laugh at them. For we shall say, here are the men that did not use Socio-political as their stronghold, because they trusted in their money. They trusted in the money they have been looting and stealing from the poor. They grew strong in their destructive ways and in their destructive powers. They grew strong by replacing an army with a band of terrorists. They grew strong in their arrogance, but in the end they fell. But we are like an olive tree, flourishing in the house of God, this IPOB. No matter what they bring against us, we flourish right across the face of this very planet. For our trust is not in any man. Our trust is in God Almighty in heaven. Our trust is in Elohim Adonai El Shaddai. Our trust is in this unfailing love that Socio-political has for us forever and ever. For we shall praise thee, O Heavenly Father. Forever we shall adore your holy name, for all our hope rests in thee. For Biafra has come in our time. All we are doing is marching around the walls of Jericho. Every agent of darkness and of iniquity shall perish and shall fall, but we shall praise the name of the living God in the land of the living, before the congregation and the multitude of the saints. For the glory of Elohim is upon those that call upon his name in truth and every honesty, as it is upon IPOB, as it is upon this very noble family. Let the name of Elohim be praised, adored, worshipped and praised now and forevermore, we pray. He said, we must preach this very gospel, that heaven may bear us witness. Later on, I don't want people calling, if you call this line, I will block you. If you call any of our lines, I will block you. You should be paying attention, not making phone calls. Pay attention. We are not like anybody in the zoo. We are IPOB, we are Biafrans. Our boundary starts from Benue all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, and our boundaries to the west starts from Edo all the way to Amazonia. We must understand this. We must learn. If you call this line, I will block you. You can never call again. You must listen and pay attention. You are not a product of the zoo. You are a Biafran. We are Biafrans right across this very planet listening. And we are taking this very gospel into the heart of Abuja, into the heart of darkness, that they may reason the same way that we do. No calls. If I have to speak to you, I will be the one to call you. If you call this line, you will be blocked. Get your pen and paper ready, bring it out, and prepare to learn. Prepare to learn, for there are many things that are hidden which we are going to reveal tonight. But by revelation tonight, I am going to start from what that very sanitizing, sensible and reasonable Ghanaian president of old said. His name is Jerry Rawlings. I want him to set the pace for us this very evening, that we may partake in what it means to be beholden to the truth. Some of you don't know what truth means. I want us to go to Jerry Rawlings to see if he can tell us what truth is all about. Those of you who are on standby, remain on standby. I'm going to come to you. I will preach this very gospel first, and then I will go that the world may know the history of Edo State that they never knew before, that the world may know that we are all Igbo people, that the world may know we are from one family, that the world may know that this boundary, wherever you find a woman tying to this wrapper, it's not only genuine, it is real. That the world may know how the throne of the Oba of Benin came about, that they may know that we were there before they came, that they may know that the boundary of Biafra is actually inside Ondo State, sorry, inside Ogun State. Was it Ondo? Ondo State. After Edo State, you have Ondo. That is where our boundary is. And this evening we are going to prove it beyond every conceivable doubt. Beyond every reasonable doubt. Nobody will be left behind. I repeat, I said, nobody will be left behind. Not at all. We are taking everybody in this family is coming with us. Everybody. It was today before I came on air that I discovered, do you know Ination? Ubiaja, that is the proper name. Do you know they have 4 market days? Are people aware of these things? Do you know that the Oba of Benin opened his mouth and confessed that his progenitors came from Ile-Ife? Are you aware of that? And that they met people inside the land of Edo when they came there. Not even Edo. You can read over they met, this is from the mouth of the Oba of Benin, that they came from Ife. That all of you may know the truth, and that truth will set you free. That is why we exist. That is why we preach this very gospel unadulteratedly, and that is why we are without fear before any bagger. They have not given birth to you. And very soon, result of that, the world will know how serious we are. Let us first of all, I want people to appreciate what it means to be truthful. And appreciation because a black man cannot appreciate truth. A black man is the embodiment of evil. They don't know what truth means. Let me go to Jerry Rawlings. That Rawlings may tell us in his own understanding what truth is all about. Listen.
The chemical interrogation test.
Listen.
I would dare you to go and line up some of your finest policemen, some of your finest some of your finest, what you call it, judges. Make any allegations against me, you included. Whatever questions you want to ask, take me through a chemical interrogation. I will be the one who will pass. I wonder how many of you will pass. You know something, Chief? If we can learn to be bold enough to restore the value of truth in our society, yes, then we will have justice. Without truth, we cannot get justice.
Are you listening? Without truth, no justice.
We cannot get justice. And that's why we're suffering. Truth is so important. Do you know what Gandhi said? I don't need Gandhi to tell it to me. Gandhi said he was looking for truth in God, only to discover that God was in truth. How beautiful. How beautiful.
Did you people hear that? When people have issues with the way we preach this very gospel, it is because they cannot comprehend the truth. This is from a man that every sensible, or should I say conscientious person in the damnable Zoological Republic is pleading and begging for one military officer to emulate. This is Jerry Rawlings, the man responsible for cleansing and sanitizing Ghana till this very day. That Ghana is sensible today is down to this very man. Do you know what he did? He killed every corrupt individual in Ghana. That is why Ghana is sensible today. What this very important man is saying is that truth is essential in everything you're doing in life. And Jerry Rawlings went further to say the absence of truth means the presence of injustice. The reason why people are suffering in the damnable Zoological Republic is because there is no truth in the system. It's because an average Nigerian do not value the truth. And that is why there is injustice everywhere. That is why there are killings everywhere. That is why terrorists are replacing soldiers in the army. That is why terrorists are replacing police people. That is why a terrorist organization can rise up and say we are floating a vigilante right across the whole nation, when you know that that vigilante is army and police. The Nigeria vigilante is army and police. They used to kill. Have you seen all the people with fake army uniforms and fake police uniforms all over the place, full army people from right across the Sahel, wreaking havoc on the lives of people, yet you cannot speak, yet you cannot talk? Now you understand why we are very, very important in your lives. Why even as of today, people of Nasarawa are beginning to recognize that we are fighting for the liberation of everybody. We want Biafra, yes, but we want others to be free as well. We want everybody to be free. You cannot be free when you are living in lies. You cannot be free when deception is part of your daily existence. You cannot be free when you are poor the truth. Only truth can set you free. Even Rollins knows. Him of all people ought to know. And when you claim you believe in God, the only thing that you can see in God is truthfulness. Nothing more, nothing less. Only truthfulness. If you cannot find truth in God, it means you are not a human being. It means you are not a truthful person. And once it is recognized that you are not a truthful person, you are not deserving of justice. That is why the zoo, Nigeria, they don't deserve justice. Nigerians don't deserve justice. That is why there is impunity. That is why there is so much stealing and corruption. And that is why there is retrogression and backwardness. That is why nothing seems to be working. That is why people are suffering, and that is why they are dying, because they are poor the truth. And the scriptures made us to understand that you shall know the truth, and that truth shall set you free. That is why we are here this evening, to preach this very gospel uncompromisingly, that the world may know. And where are we going to start our gospel this very day? We start it from the very old problem, because we must be truthful to ourselves. If you are not truthful to yourself, there is no way you can get out of the mess you're in. Let me give you a very simple example for those who do not know. When you're sick, you have appendicitis threatening to rupture in your stomach, and you go to the doctor and you say to the doctor, oh no, I have toothache. And the doctors will be spending their time battling with toothache, whereas the problem you're suffering from is in your stomach. As you're busy lying, the appendix ruptures, contaminates your entire alimentary canal, and if you are unlucky, you will die from it. The reason why you are dying is because you lied. You failed to disclose that the problem you were having was appendicitis. The same thing is applicable to all the animals in the zoo called Nigeria. They lie to themselves. Your average Nigerian is a natural born liar. A natural born liar. They were born to lie. That is why everybody is suffering. And that is why nobody wants to confront the truth. Nobody wants to stand up and say, what is happening is evil. What is happening is not good. Let us try and change it. Never. Because they are lying to themselves. They are lying to themselves. They can be in the same country with the Fulani. They are lying to themselves that you can be in the same country with people who come out openly to extol the virtues of terrorism and lawlessness. All of you know this. But you are cowardly. You close your mouths, you cannot speak. They give you money, you take it, you pocket it, and tomorrow you want things to be better for you. It cannot be. Somebody called Douglas Anele has been writing brilliantly. I think this is the third installment of what he's been writing. Was the amalgamation of the North and the South a mistake? A very simple question. When Lugard came and decided to join us from the South with those of them from the North, was it a good thing? Let me tell you one good thing that will shock everybody. Do you know that had the amalgamation taken place without the inclusion of Fulani in it, things would have been better in the zoo, Nigeria? Are you aware of that? The only reason why there is suffering and pain is because of the Fulani Janjaweed included in the zoo. And I have said this repeatedly. I want somebody anywhere in the world tonight to tell me any country, any territory, any town, any village that a Fulani is in charge and they're doing very well. Give me an example, because there is none. Absolutely none. Now, the man said that the failure of Azikiwe and Awolowo to unite against Sir Robertson's northernization agenda. Sir Robertson is a British man. But when they came and they found that the Fulanese were willing tools, they converted them to their agents. They became their house niggers to now go and do their evil deeds for them. The question this author is asking is, why was it impossible for Azikiwe and Awolowo to agree? And the failure of Azikiwe and Awolowo to agree is why we are in the mess we are in today. Do you know that had Azikiwe and Awolowo said no to 1914 amalgamation, that would have been the end of it? But they disagreed, and because of that, the zoo came into being. Do you know what this very author said? He said that the agenda of the British modernization agenda is regrettable because it not only allowed Britain to get away with odious political shenanigans that unjustly favored the North, it also laid the foundation for the subsequent entrenchment of Fulani mediocrity colonization, which over the years has crippled the zoo. That colonization is now happening in your backyard. But maybe you live in Lagos, you live in Abuja, you live in Toronto, you live in New York. You are not aware of what is happening in your village. Maybe you live in any other part of the world. Maybe you live in Malaysia, you live in Japan. You are ignorant of what the Fulanis are doing. As at this very night before I came on air, it was confirmed that the vigilante, the Miyet Yala was talking about, are ISIS, Boko Haram, and Saru, converted members who are in the army and in the police. In other words, as I'm speaking to you right now, we are under virtual occupation. As I'm talking to you right now, our land is gone. Everybody, I said everybody, including those of you in the middle belt, those of you in the upper belt, in the lower belt, anywhere belt we are occupying, all of you in Oduduwa land, in Yoruba land, you are gone. Your land have been taken. Go to your bushes, go to your forest and see what is going on. As they are busy entertaining us with their corruption, busy entertaining us with one mask after the other, as they are busy waving at the cameraman to cut the interview with the impostor in Asarok, what they are doing is embedding their people in our land. I came off a meeting this very evening and I told them that the same mistakes the Hausa people made that enabled the Fulani to overrun them, sadly enough, is the mistake that every ethnic group in the zoo called Nigeria is making today. The same mistakes. And the funniest thing is that if you don't learn from history, history will consume you. History will consume you. If we fail to learn from the mistakes of the Hausa, if we fail to learn, today in Hausa land, every governor is Fulani. In Hausa land, every emir, every traditional ruler is Fulani. If you don't want your life to be like the one of the Hausa in the north, now is the time to rise up, not tomorrow, now. That is why they will pour out in ridiculous amounts of money to try to bribe everything bribeable to stop us from what we are doing. And they have failed. That was why they carried their intimidation to my house this very evening in Isama Faruku. That is their method. That is what they do. That is what the Fulani specializes in. Intimidation and terrorism. Those are their two basic. They lie through their teeth. They are very good at lying, and they are the worst propagandists anywhere in the world. Have you noticed how Oduduwa Yoruba formed Amotekun to take charge of Yoruba land? Now, instead of Fulani to form their terror group to form their own vigilante to take charge of Sokoto, which is the only land I believe that the Fulanis have in the zoo, you know what they did? They now said,
No use pound us, old fools. Empty brains, old fools. Sold your souls for chicken change. Proud slave, good full on maze, we must get you down. Honestly, Yoshi. Honestly, Bande Fundiara. No forgiveness. No forgiveness. We must get you down. Boy, saboteurs. Do your worst. Come do your worst. The governors, you sold us out. Evil kings, hungry fools, slave kings, shameless fools, brought evil men to Biafra land, a holy land, a blessed land, to kill us all. Then you obey, Ipob, Biafra rising. Honestly, Yoshi. Honestly, Bande Fundiara. This year, I see this year, I see freedom for me, for you. Wake up, stand up, you gotta have keys in our hands. We open, we enter. This year, no stopping us. Fake kings, misblood, fighting us, killing us in a long Ipob. Honestly, Yoshi. Honestly, Bande Fundiara.
Yo, this is a song written from me to you, all you Biafra soldiers out there on the roads. One for all for one. I'm the Kano Ipob, my tongue. Straight coming back home, I swamp people with love. We are Biafrans, they shine bright and polish in the land like the trees of Lebanon. You're planted in the house of God. We stop formidable, they can have us, but remain unstoppable. They can break us, any must be proud, indefensible. Is our strength. We never stop the fight for freedom rights. Every tribe and tongue united nations party for the world to see us. We unite to fight for freedom right as goes on. People, let us fight for one time. We try to honest the born and brush and crack down this road. The code Nigerian that for one time freedom. For spilling the blood of innocent Biafrans. For mercy and we can forgive. When the time comes up for payback, and we can forget all you done to us. Come on, come on. Biafran soldiers, where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? They can help us. Where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? Biafran soldiers, where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? They can help us. Yo, we straight headed back home. I swam people one love. We are Biafrans. Because in 1914, Nigeria was created for the interest of the British government by the head of President Lucas. Hiding Biafras in Nigeria, keep us stealing our resources. That was wrong. British government, that was wrong and evil. Only God can create a nation. That's why we've come to be a nation as we supposed to be. We are gathering our troops from across the world to unite our nations. Biafra coming like invisible, but visible for what to see. As we unite to fight for freedom right as goes on. People, let us get the one time with truth and honest. The one and brushing crack down the British to the code Nigeria. That for one time freedom. For spilling the bloods of innocent Biafrans with no mercy and we can forgive. When the time comes up for payback and we can forget all you've done to us. Come on, come on. Biafran soldiers, where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? They can help us. Where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? Biafran soldiers, where you are now? Where you are? Where you are? Where you are now? They can help us. This is one love, my people. nizoni sobo igwe banke efiki jo igala. We are one people. Nnamdi Kanu unite us together. Through IPOB he has united us together. Let us pray to God because he's our God. All you Biafran soldiers out there around the world, keep on pushing on, keep on marching on for the restoration of Biafra is at hand. Nnamdi Kanu, God bless you. Ucheme for God bless you. Nene all you principal officers, all the coordinators all over the whole world, God bless you. We are one people. We are not Nigeria. Nigeria is a hell on earth. Oh, the greatest mistake the British government has ever made. Corruption called Nigeria. Nigeria is a zoo. Oh, come on, you people. Don't let them deceive anymore. Don't listen to what they say to you. We are one people. IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra. Ikechukwu, Biafra Land Coordinator. Yeah, it's going on. Biafra soldiers now. Put your business in the air. Biafra soldiers now. Just put your hands up. Tell me what my soldiers are. What's up? Where my soldiers are? Where my soldiers? Where my soldiers are? I true Biafra soldiers, yes.
They're saying that so policemen are coming, they are wearing mufti dress and everything. You know people in your community. You don't just, when you start seeing a stranger roaming around your place, you know he's not from there. But all said and done, it's his war. We are at war, believe me sincerely. Not the physical combat that you see people, country going to war. No, these are people within your own system. They tried it in Lagos, that is what is backfiring on them today. They talk about Lekki. They went to Lekki, they shot guns and they toll gate and the rest of them. These are things that have been happening in Biafra land. We saw it happen in Aba when soldiers and policemen knelt down like in a close range. They were killing people. They killed all those people. They dumped some of them in the Borough pits. Amnesty International did a report on that and sent it to ICC. What has come out of it? Nothing. So unfortunately for them, people are making so much noise about Lekki. It's only God that is trying to expose us. That Chukwukika Abiyama said 100 people will get in Biafra. That thing is, that's what it means. That is true. What he's trying to say is the same thing that he said the eye of a needle, the camel. For a rich man to go to heaven, the needle a camel must be able to pass through the eye of a needle. 100 in a society where we have over 70 million people, and they're looking for 100. So who is that person that will fall apart and think that he was expected to remain? No, people are going to die. People are going to drop on the wayside. People who came in for a purpose that expecting a Biafra to come in today and tomorrow, they're going to fall off. Most of us may not be here, so what? What's the big deal? The happiness and the joy is that you are part of this thing that is moving, you are part of the movement, and that's it. When you do it to a point where nature says it's time to answer the call, you have to answer it, whether you like it or not. So it does not really matter. What matters is the heart. Don't come and, like I said before, when you're in the trip, in this journey, it's like a marathon race. You are running a marathon race. Whenever you're tired, because we used to have a marathon here in New York, you see them when they start, everybody's on the bridge, they are running along the way. Some people will forget that they're even doing marathon. They start probably going to buy hamburgers and things like that, and they are off. That's where their energy ends them. The people that will continue, eventually somebody's going to win. That's exactly the same thing we're doing. We are doing marathon race. Whenever you think that you are tired, you step aside. Don't try to push the other man or try to put a stall on somebody to fall over because you are tired. No. Step aside and let those who have the energy continue. The important thing is that when we get what we want, everybody will enjoy it. Everybody will be happy. And calling in and saying that, young people are being killed left and right and center. Why don't you join the volunteers? That's the first thing I told somebody who called me and said, these young people, these are young people, if they are killing them like that, I said, let them join the volunteers. Go out there, request to be a volunteer. I don't know how the system, I don't know how it works, but I do know That if you go out there, they will interview you, eventually they will put you in. Then you'll be very equipped for what you're doing. But if you're a young man and you're sitting down there and you're folding your hand, same thing that happened in 1960 during the war. Exactly the same thing, believe me. There were most of us who were babies who went in to join the army, and we were the ones that actually survived the war, because most of the people that came in late, they were the people that were hiding. Later they had to, because they had no choice. They were not properly trained like us. Believe me sincerely, then towards the end of the war, I was in a convalescent camp, and this convalescent camp was like a military training depot. We were seeing the soldiers that were coming in. They were training them for 1 week and then taking them to the war front. But those of us who joined it earlier, we had the privilege of being trained properly. Before, at least, even though we never had rifles to shoot with, we at least were trained with wooden stick and all the rest of them. But at least we had an idea. Maybe one rifle is there, and they teach us how to dismantle the rifle and set it back. They teach us how to use the range on the back, to be able to snipe out an enemy. We had time to do that. But those that came in late never really had that privilege. It was rush, because the war was going. You come in today, tomorrow you're out there. 1 week you are trained, you are marched out. They need you in the war front to go there and do some fighting. So that's what is going on now. There are young people out there in Biafra land today who can be volunteers. Join it. Look for a way to join the volunteers. That will help. I know that the volunteers they don't just pick people from the street, no. But you still have to apply. There has to be a way. It's like somebody who's joining IPOB. Some people are crying, we don't know how to join. We are trying to join IPOB, will not be able to. Eventually they will find a way and they will join. The same thing with the volunteers. You have to decide that this is what you want to do, because it's in your own interest anyway. You can't be going in a bus and then they will ask you to step down, and then all the women will continue while they take you and they execute you somewhere. If you join the volunteers, all these things that Wike is doing, if all of you are able to join the volunteers to be well equipped for all this nonsense, you will see it coming. And by the way, they're saying that policemen are coming, they are wearing mufti dress and everything. You know people in your community. You don't just, when you start seeing a stranger roaming around your place, he's not from there. But all said and done, it is war. We are at war, believe me sincerely. Not the physical combat that you see country going to war. No, these are people within your own system. They tried it in Lagos. That is what is backfiring on them today. They're talking about Lekki. They went to Lekki, they shot guns and the toll gate and the rest of them. These are things that have been happening in Biafra land. We saw it happen in Aba, when soldiers and policemen knelt down like in a close range. They were killing people. They killed all those people. They dumped some of them in the borrow pit. Amnesty International did a report on that and sent it to ICC. What has come out of it? Nothing. So unfortunately for them, if people are
to the hearing of the entirety of humanity, I welcome each and every one of you. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Unfortunately, we were not able to bring you this very program last week, but we are here this very week, in keeping with our promise that we will be live to take all your questions and all your concerns, that we may become slightly more enlightened, more educated as to what we are doing, where we are heading to, and why we do things the way we do it. I welcome you, and as I do so, I will most fervently encourage you to welcome other people as well, because this very broadcast is going out to the whole world in over 160 countries and territories. People are listening via our app, IPOB Community Radio. People are listening via Radio Biafra app. People are listening via our FM in Biafra land, in Abuja, in Kanu, in Lagos, and in other parts of the damnable Zoological Republic as well. We are hoping to bring enlightenment, to bring knowledge, to bring understanding and a sense of reasoning to all that we do, not just to Biafrans all over the world, but also to to those who listen to us, and to all lovers of freedom. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We are going to pray, and after that I will give you the number to call. Our number, of course, has changed. We are going to give you a new WhatsApp line to call, please, and also remember we are on Skype as well, and please do take care when you call us. If people are making their comments, if people are talking about something very important, I would encourage each and every one of you to please hold fire and listen to them before you call, please. Once again, I welcome you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. We are now going to proceed to pray, and then after that, we are going to open our lines. Please remember, we do not need your felicitations. Of course, I encourage that, and I welcome it wholeheartedly. As I'm praying for you, so are some of you also praying for us. But what I would like you to do this morning is, when it is your turn to speak, please go straight to the point. Ask those difficult, very, very difficult and awkward questions. We shall endeavor to answer you as truthfully as we can, and as always, do not forget that we do not hide anything here. We are live and we are direct, and the whole world, of course, is listening to us, including the Efulefus, the saboteurs, the traitors, and the Janjaweed. Everybody is glued to the system this very morning, listening to us. And you must also appreciate the fact that Facebook is doing all they can to suppress what we are doing. They have failed, they will continue to fail, and we shall continue to triumph. Let us pray, please. Our prayer this morning is taken from the very lovely book of Isaiah, chapter 43. Beginning from verse 1, of course, is a very simple prayer which we must pray. For all that we are today, tomorrow, and forever, we owe to the mercy and to the grace of the Most High, unto whom this very morning, afternoon, night, or evening, depending on where you are, we commit all that we are unto his ever-loving hands. For he has charged us to fear not, for he has redeemed us. He summoned us by name even before we were born. That is why we do what we do. That is why we proclaim his name ceaselessly. That is why we always say, without fear nor favor, that all that we are today is through the grace of the Most High. No matter what we are passing through, the Heavenly Father, O God of all that has been created, is with us, and he will remain with us until Biafra comes in our time. We are working very, very hard to make sure that we restore Biafra as quickly as possible, as imminently as possible. We are not relenting. All that we are doing is geared towards giving every glory, every adoration, every honor unto the Most High, because we are nothing without him, and with him having charged us not to be afraid, this very morning we proclaim that we are not afraid. We shall preach this very gospel of truth, that the mercy of the Most High will abide with us now and forevermore, we pray. He say, please, for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, and indeed for every other person, please, you must listen very, very carefully and attentively. This is the number you're going to reach us with this very morning. Our number has changed. The number has changed. Our main WhatsApp line has changed. There are other ones that can get hold of us. But the main one is +49 162 78 11 190. I repeat, +49 162 78 11 190. That is the number through which you can and will be able to get hold of us this very morning. I repeat, +49, which is a German number, +49 162 78 11190. That is 111 plus 49 162 78 11190. We have somebody who happens to be on Skype. Let us see what they have to say. The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Please give us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Zoma Chima. I'm calling from Dubai.
From Dubai, please go ahead. The whole world is listening. Go ahead.
So I'm very happy to speak with you today. I've been calling to hear from you, but it doesn't get possible. But today I got to your call. Thank you, sir. So I want to ask, my question is, what I want to ask is that all these saboteurs that are being hindering our restoration of Biafra, if this Biafra comes and they ask for forgiveness, and people say you should forgive them, are we going to forgive them? Because for me, as a Biafran, I'm not ready to forgive anybody. I want to know if you will be able to forgive them if they plead, and people say you should forgive them.
That will be left up to the people. As for me, I have no forgiveness in my dictionary when it comes to saboteurs. We are not going to forgive them because they know what they are doing. But I am of the opinion that most of them will return back to the Sahel, to the Janjaweed territory, to Arewa land, where they belong, because that is where most of their fathers come from. Most of them will go back to that very place, that I can assure you. But if it is to do with what we are doing, to be part of it, then believe you me, they can never ever be allowed to remain in Biafra land. It is not possible because they are conscious of what they are doing and they are doing it deliberately. And let me also correct one misleading impression. They are not stopping us. They are incapable of stopping us. They do not exist. If you go to Biafra land today, you will see that they are nowhere to be found. You cannot see them on the streets anymore. Ever since we raised our flag, ever since the dragon banner has been raised, you don't see them anymore. They do not come out, they do not hold meetings anymore because they know what is in store for them. Saboteur has no place in our society. They have no place in our land, and we are not going to pity them. We cannot pity them, not now, not tomorrow, because we are going to set an example with them that others may learn. So be rest assured there will be no space for saboteurs in Biafra land. And that is final. Thank you very much for your call. I have another caller on the line. This caller is on our new WhatsApp line. Please give us your name and where you're calling from, if you may.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, please. Go ahead.
My name is Chinemeze Baby. I'm calling from Angola.
You're calling from Angola?
Yeah.
Please go ahead. We're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. Chairman, there are certain things I want to put in mind, because there are, you taught us how to reason, you understand? So the other day I was doing some research and there are some certain things I noticed, because from the main fact, we are told that it's the white people that bring church to us, you understand? But since I was born up to this very moment, there are two things I don't understand up to this very moment. That is, number one, there is a god or all these other gods we have in our local villages and all this deity. I have not seen anyone named after Shuku. I have not seen. We have many Shis, but Shuku is the only Shuku. But the second thing is that I know that Amadi is a first son, and Yoran is the people's first son. So, what is there any gods they call Amadioha? Or are they trying to tell us that Amadioha means the first son that everyone likes? Because Amadioha, you understand? I want to know if there is any deity they call Amadioha. Because they used to say that Amadioha always justify is a god of justice. You understand? And Amadi means the first son of everyone. So I want to know, is that means that Amadi have anything to do with Christ, or is a deity?
No. Thank you very much. You've asked a very searching, a very probing question, which we are going to deal with this morning. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. You're calling from Angola. Everything to do with every deity in our culture is as a result of fraud. It is fraudulent. Just like the way you have fake pastors today was how you had fake priests more in those days, people who are the conduit, the Igwekalas of those days, people who were a conduit between the realm of the living and the spiritual. They became very corrupt, as you have corruption today in the church and in the mosques as well. People tried to twist the word of God. And remember, in those days, we used to rely on all these people to come and tell us what God is saying, not what the gods are saying, because you don't have multiple gods. No, not at all. As you said rightly, you only have one Chukwu, only one supreme God in heaven, and nobody bears his name. No deity can bear his name. It is not possible. All these deities were created just the same way that we have IPOB, and people are trying to create other mushroom movements within IPOB. Of course, we've clamped down on them. Was how it was in those days, very corrupt. You will see a very corrupt priest, highly corrupt. You will see a very beautiful girl, perhaps out of jealousy that his own daughters are very ugly. He will go and proclaim that the gods have said that this woman is possessed by a marine spirit. All that garbage. Are you following me at all? He will say, this lady, I just want to give you an example as to the consequences of this corruption of our spirituality. That was how the Osu caste system came about. I want people to listen very carefully this morning. Then this baboon will go and say, oh, this very beautiful girl, she's possessed by a marine spirit. The God said that, she should be kept apart for him. In the night, this man will go and sleep with that woman, and the woman will give birth. When they ask him, how come this woman that you said the God is now marrying is pregnant? He will say the God pregnanted her in the middle of the night. And because of that, any child that this woman is to bear from now onwards, nobody can marry them, because they belong to the God. That was how the useless, hopeless, idiotic Osu caste system came about. All as a result of fraud and corruption. Because there's only one God. We used to go to Arochukwu to worship that very God. Even before they corrupted Arochukwu as well, when the Jukun people came and started buying slaves, our priests became corrupt inside Arochukwu, which was why Elohim destroyed it through the British. So that is the history of our people. Always fraud. The thing is that we have not been vigilant. We have not. It's only now that we are becoming very vigilant, insisting on doing that which is right and holding those who are doing evil things accountable. It's only now that we have done it. And I want our people to understand that, and to understand that very, very clearly. Everything you're seeing, all this useless deity in most villages, is as a result of complete and utter fraud. Lies. That is why it's called Arosi. That's what it is. That is the meaning of Arose. Because from our name you get everything that you want. Our names are literal, they're not metaphorical. Arose means what something bad said. That was how the useless Osuka system came about. If you ask them, they will not tell you the truth. They will tell you, the God said this woman is possessed. The God said these people should not be touched. It is the idiot, the stupid so-called Dibia or Janamo, who goes in the middle of the night to sleep with that very woman. And now, out of frustration and anger and, a feeling of rejection, that woman will begin to behave as if she's mad, because she cannot understand the rubbish that is going on. They say, it's Obanje, it's a woman, and all that rubbish. That was how this nonsense came about. There is only one God, one supreme God in heaven, Chukwu Kikabiama. Anybody telling all this nonsense they are doing, Peter Dochie and all the rest of them, talking about gods, as if God is a plural. So then how do they decide? So all these gods, they now sit around somewhere and decide. They are just bastardizing our culture and our way of life. There is only one Chukwu. And the reason why those people in those days were afraid to call God was because if you mess up, if you lie, you will die. Before you are given the Ozo title in those days, you will go and take an oath. And after taking that very oath, they will they will make 7 incisions on your tongue. They will use blade razor to carve 7 incisions on your tongue will bleed. That means that any day you lie, you will die. They started, running to all these their useless gods. As I said, it's just like some pastors you have in Pentecostalism lying in the name of God and in the name of Christ, hoping that somehow they can deceive some people. And that is why these days people don't do anything anymore. Instead of being very proactive, they're telling you that God will do everything for them. One, they know that heaven only helps those who help themselves. Thank you very much for your question this morning. It's very searching. I don't know if you have gotten the answer that you're looking for or if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, there's another thing. Another thing is that the other day I was trying to find some answer by what you taught us the other day. You said about which parts of the country, which parts are Igbos. You understand? So I wrote in Google Igbo land, and in that Igbo land, I now go to Wikipedia. There is a lot of things. The entrance. You understand why they call them Igodo? So I find that the entrance of the Igbo land is in Idu. You understand? There is a map there, a bank, and there are many things which we are not including. You understand? I want you to put more light in that topic, because when I wrote Igbo land, I went to Wikipedia. They tell me about many things, many that are Igbos. You understand? But there is something ironical. At the bottom they say in Nigeria. You understand? They wrote what white people wrote about us. They include everything. But they say politically in Nigeria is only 5 states and the part of. You understand? But the fundamental thing is that they include all other roots and branches. You understand? But when they want to write politically in Nigeria, which means I found out that Nigeria wanted to twist us. You understand? So when I wrote that search Igbo land and I went to Wikipedia, there is a lot of things I find out there.
Yes, I will. I understand, my dear brother, and thank you very much for that. And keep listening. The fact of the matter is that I have been doing a lot of research around the Igodomigo as well, and indeed it is the key. It is the entrance, because the Igodomigo quite simply means the key that unlocks the key. That's what it is. And they do as well. Let me tell people something they don't understand about what Britain did to us. Britain perfected the system of divide and rule when they came to our land, because they first, amongst others, recognized what we represented. Britain knew the spiritual dimension of our people. Britain was afraid of the spiritual depth of Biafra and what Biafra portends for Africa in terms of human development, advancement, and progress. So they proceeded to stifle it. And one of the best ways to conquer a people is to divide them. That is the easiest thing that anybody can do to you. Once they divide you, then you become fair game. You can be conquered very easily. So they proceeded to try to divide us. They proceeded to try to carve us away, because if you go to England, the English people is a mongrel race, of course. There is nobody called English. You had the Celtic people, so to speak, which are the Welsh and the Scottish people. And then the English came as a result of the conquest of England by Norman the Conqueror, who came from France. So England, as you have it today, are made up of the Angles, who are from Denmark and Norway, and also the Anglo and the Saxons, of course, who are from Germany. That is something that people don't quite understand. So they know about divide and rule. When they came to our land, the only way to try to diminish us is to diminish our numbers and then our landmass. First, diminish your number and your landmass. We have established time and time again on this program that language alone is not the only determinant as to who a people are in terms of homogeneity. Now, given that that is the case, rather than looking for what I call the underlying attributes as to what holds us together as a people, the British went about exacerbating that differentiates us from one another, especially language. They know that the crown, the Bini kingdom that you have today came from Yoruba land. They know it is alien, it is foreign. They understand that very well. So what they now did is to now give them what I call a disproportionate sphere of influence all the way to River Niger, to say that all these areas come under the influence of the Oba of Benin. They even try to get into Onitsha as well, forgetting the fact that people existed before the Obaship of Benin was enthroned, and that all that land is Igbo land, all of it. I wrote something on my page, something was published during our last broadcast on Wednesday, how Igbo land starts from Benue State all the way to Ipob. Somebody said, "Oh, stop this land grabbing," and that actually reminded me as to the very wretched and pathetic state of education in the zoo. I said Igbo land is written very clearly. There are 3 Igbo-speaking local government areas in Benue State, part of the so-called North. Part of the so-called North. My anger is not that we are being divided, we are being balkanized, we are being reduced every day in terms of our numbers and in terms of our territory. It is what the likes of Ohaneze has failed to do over the years. They call themselves intellectuals, most of them. They don't love our people. They have not done anything to show any sense of, should I say, urgency in terms of addressing some of the very terrible things that Nigeria and Britain before them has done to our people. That is why you have somebody openly talking rubbish about how Igbo land is only 5 states. It's of the 5 states of the southeast. And they keep perpetuating this nonsense over and over and over and over again. They know where Isoko people comes from. They know where Urobo people comes from. They know all these things. Go to Urobo land and see the names they answer. Go to Isoko and see the names they answer. Hear it for yourself. Look at their language and their culture. Look at the way their women dress and everything. You will know that all of these people are from one source, one single source. But we've allowed ourselves to be divided. When you go to an Ijo man, he'll be talking rubbish, or Ijo woman talking absolute garbage. And when you ask them, where are you from? They say, we come from, I think we come, one is saying they came from, is it Burkina Faso, is it Liberia? That's how foolish we are. So, all those years that Britain spent, and after them, Fulani Janjaweed spent dividing our people actually bought into it. And we bought into it because of our innate nature to self-hate. That's what we do very, very well. We do it very, very well. And these are the things that we are trying to reverse. And I'm glad to say that we have succeeded, or we are succeeding in reversing some of this nonsense. Thank you very much. Your call has been very, very amazing and illuminating. Igbo land starts from Igodo Migodo. I said Igbo land, Igbo IGP, or Igbo land starts from Igodo Migodo. Because it is the key that opens the key. Any day. That is why I have regard for our people, our sisters and our brothers who are from Igodo Migodo, who were insistent. Even me, initially I said no, they cannot be part of us, until I went and started researching, because I learn every day. The same way that I teach is how I learn every day. Every blessed day I study, I read. Every blessed day I want to learn more, because only a fool will stop learning. Every day you learn. You may hold a position which, after a while, you come to realize is no longer valid, and then you jettison it and embrace the new one. When they kept convincing me and giving me facts and evidence, proof, Asian land, everywhere you have in Edo, that it is actually part and parcel of Igbo land, I had to agree to it, because the evidence are very clear. They are very glaring. Is anybody disputing the fact that or the throne, the Benin throne, came from Yoruba land? Is anybody disputing that? Nobody. Now they came from somewhere into Igodo, into Idu land. Who were the people in Idu land before they came? Just like somebody telling me Mongo Park founded River Niger, as if we're a bunch of idiots. How about the people that live in Obaru? How about those who live at the banks of the river before even the white man was created? So these are some of the nonsensical ideas that we need to embrace the truth. And the truth is that Igbo land is far more bigger than they give it credit for. And the reason why they keep shrinking us every blessed day now, they have confined us to only 5 states, is because they want to divide and rule us, and they have succeeded. And their agents in Ohanese and the so-called governors that you have are the ones actually perpetuating this very, should I say, injustice, so to speak. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very, very much. People are calling from all over the place. I have a caller who happens to be on the line. Give us your name and where you are. The caller on our new WhatsApp line. Your name and where you are, please. Can you hear me? Chukwebuka, you're calling from around this work. Please go ahead. Chukwebuka, go ahead.
Nothing much.
You're breaking.
There is nothing that made by man that has no expiring date.
Of course.
Nigeria is created by man, and the expiring date is near. So that's the only thing I want to contribute.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very, very much for. Let's take this call again. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please?
Hello,
yes, please. Your name and where you're calling from? Good morning to you.
My name is Echezona Chukwu Omodo. I'm from Umoji, Demlin North Local Government, Biafra land. I am in India.
In India. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
My pleasure to speak with you today. Have been a long time. I'm trying to reach you. Sir, I am very, very happy to. I'm congratulating you in good job, good work you're doing for our people. I thank you personally for myself as an eye-opener to me. I'm very, very happy in India here. We are still trying our best to make sure that our gospel is propagated. Sir, my question is this, sir. These people and these our governors that are still blindfolding people all around in the name to be secure them, to be under what I would like Nigeria. Now, what will be the penalty to them? Because they are still deceiving our people, trying to convince people, trying to disorganize our effort, which I know that by the name of Chukwu Okada they can do nothing. What will we do to them so that they can be able to vanish away from our land? That's my question, sir.
Thank you. The same question that our brother asked earlier. And my answer is always the same. I pray for them to repent and to change. I must be honest with you. I do pray for their repentance, for them to change and perhaps abandon their evil ways. That is what I pray for all the time. But should they refuse to abandon their evil ways, of course, at the right time, you know, a revolution is going to happen. And when that happens, you know what happens in a revolution. Every traitor and every saboteur is accounted for. That is what happens in a revolution. So all they're trying to do is to delay the inevitable. They now have the chance to repent and do that which is right. I posted something before we came on air this morning. In the north, everybody is agreed on one thing, that they need to conquer and Islamize the rest of the south, the middle belt and the south. A Fulani terrorist buys into this idea or has bought into it. A Fulani politician has bought into the idea. All their emirs and traditional rulers, they've all bought into the idea. There are people who are serving in the army and in the police have all bought into the idea. That is why you see them taking pictures with bandits. Even Ohaneze alluded to it a few days ago after many months of us highlighting this very fact. They have now alluded to the fact that, or they have now recognized the fact that Fulani people who are working or who are serving in the army and in the police do not arrest their own people. They take pictures with them with AK-47, with assault rifles. They are not imprisoned. But in Aba, people are being raided. People, they go into people's homes, they arrest them. And you'll be shocked that some of the people carrying out all these arrests and all these raids are Biafran people. So, since the Fulanis are organized in terms of wanting to make sure they take over our land, to kill us off, to rape our mothers and abduct our daughters, we should also come together as a people to resist them. And coming together as a people to resist them doesn't just mean only IPOB. It means everybody else. It means Biafran people, even Middle Belt people who are serving in the army. It means the DPP. It means the Chief Justice of Abia State, of all the states we have in Biafra land. For them to understand, they should say to themselves, how come you want me to prosecute our people, to jail them, when in your own land you are busy romancing bandits, you are busy giving scholarships to terrorists, you are busy building schools and colleges for them? Isn't that how intellectuals are supposed to reason? So that goes to the point you're trying to raise, my dear brother, and that was the point that was made earlier. Our people need to be reasonable and sensible. The people you're persecuting, the IPOB that you're against, the people that you're inviting Python dance, telling Buratai come and kill, the same Buratai you invited before to come and kill your people is now telling you he's going to declare state of emergency, and now you're saying no to it. But you are the cause of it. Had Ohanezen and governors not gone to Buratai in 2017 to say, bring your Python dance, come and kill our people, Buratai will not have the temerity nor the guts to rise up to say, I will declare state of emergency. Can he say such rubbish about Yoruba land? Ududuwa land? No, of course he cannot say it, because Ududuwa elders cannot be as foolish as Ohaneze was to go and invite a foreigner to come and kill their people. They don't understand the consequences of what they are doing. All these things they are doing, it has consequences. That is something we want these people to understand. That is something we want them to appreciate. And the sooner they understand it, the better for everybody. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for calling. Thank you very, very much. We have somebody else on the line. Let us see where that very person is calling us from. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? Your name and where you are. Give us your name and where you are. You are live on the air. Can you hear me? No. They cannot hear me. They cannot hear me. I don't know what is going on. They are not able to hear me. Let us take this call. The caller on the line on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Is reconnecting. I don't know why. The caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? No. They cannot hear me, which is quite bizarre, because normally these things, they flow very smoothly, but I don't know why they are not able to hear me. So hopefully they should be able to reconnect us. We have people who are on the line. This person happens to be on Skype. The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Yes, Ahmadika, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Please, your name and where you're calling from, if you may.
My name is Ken. I'm calling from Katy, Texas.
What is your proper name, please? I don't understand what Ken means. What is your proper name, please?
Uchenna Elemnaya.
Is Uchenna not better than Ken, in your opinion?
It's better, sir.
Of course. Uchenna means the will of God in heaven. And that is, can you tell me the meaning of Ken? Do you know the meaning of Ken?
No, sir.
Okay, but that is your name. You don't know the meaning of it. Anyway, Ken means a Nordic prince. That is the meaning of it. It's Kenneth. It means a Nordic prince. But Uchenna is far more better. The will of Almighty God in heaven. That is why we are the chosen race. Please go ahead. The world is listening.
Yeah, I have two questions for you, sir. The first one is, in the case of what is going on, if you happen to degenerate to full-time hostilities, just like they did during the Arab Spring, the Arab nations, some of them had to throw blankets on the internet so that the information what was happening couldn't get out to the outside world. Now, what if Nigerian government decided to do that on the entire Biafra land? I mean, throw blankets over the internet. Which other means are we going to use to get information out to the world of what is happening? That's in the case that this degenerates into a full-time conflict. That's my number one question. Then the second question I have is, whenever I talk to my friends about Biafra, they always reference South Sudan, in the way they went into conflict after they got independence. But they never mentioned that South Sudan happened to be a growing economy, the fastest growing economy in Africa. Now my question is, in the event that Biafra comes, what measures do we have to ensure that, factions do not rise up to start fighting for the resources of Biafra that will now lead to conflict, just like South Sudan? Basically to prevent South Sudan's situation when Biafra comes. Those are my two questions, sir.
Thank you very much. On the first question, the way we're going to get our information out to the world is that we have Radio Biafra, we have Biafra Television. Are you aware of that? It doesn't rely on the internet to do anything. If they shut down the internet, we have that. I'm not going to tell you how we do it, but we have means and ways to get our news to the whole world. And we'll keep broadcasting as well, and Biafrans everywhere will be able to hear us. It doesn't depend on anything to do with the zoo. It is via satellite. Only if they're going to go and shoot down or take down every orbiting satellite within Africa. If they cannot do that, which they cannot do, then our information is going to come out. That is number one. And then number two, people talk about this, is very lazy, useless people who do not understand history. These are poor students of history. Where are you, if I may ask? You are in America, is that correct?
I'm in America, yes, sir.
Which is the greatest country in the world right now?
America, of course.
Did America fight a war or not within themselves or not?
They did. They fought a civil war. They even fought the British. They fought, they fought.
After fighting the British, they even fought themselves. Did that stop America from becoming, did that stop the USA from becoming the greatest country in the whole world right now?
No, sir, I did not.
Is what is happening in Sudan, as according to what you said earlier, which is of course is correct. Can you tell me who has the fastest growing economy in Africa?
South Sudan.
Is there any family you can go to in the world right now where there is nobody quarreling another person?
No.
Even in your family, are you telling me that everything is very peaceful? Even husband and wife, they quarrel, don't they?
They do.
The people killing people in the bandits, the terrorists killing fellow Fulani people in Katsina, where are they from?
They are from Katsina.
That is my case. Thank you very much, my dear brother. You've asked a very intelligent question, and I believe we have answered it very, very intelligently as well. Thank you very much, and try and become part of the IPOB family, and God bless you too. I bless you immensely. I have a caller on the line. I don't know if this caller is capable of hearing me on Skype. Can you hear me? The caller on the phone, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Please, good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Mazi Christian Ikechukwu. I'm from Enugu State.
And where are you calling from?
But I'm calling precisely in South Africa. From South Africa.
From South Africa, please go ahead. We are listening. Please go ahead.
First of all, I want to greet all my brothers and sisters, IPOB family. Also with you, Mazi. You have tried a lot to us. I started following you as of 2012 to date, so I believe that I have captured one or two things ever since all this war.
Thank you.
But all I have to say right now is that when you come to all this in life, imagine even Jesus Christ have a Judas. So out of 12 there is a Judas. Then we calculate how many people living in this planet. So you bring out each 12 one. Each 12 you bring one saboteur. So you find out that we have millions of them. So our people have to understand that we have a lot of saboteurs. So but you don't allow the saboteurs to discourage you, unless you don't know what you want. Like somebody like me, I always go to what I want, and I believe that I know what I want, honestly. So I really appreciate, at least for the first time to get you. Last time you picked up my call, maybe network will eventually cut it off. But as well, I really appreciate your good work, and I believe that Chukwu Okobiama will continue to bless you and bless every IPOB family. In the name of Yehoshua.
Ise, thank you very much for your beautiful, beautiful prayers. Thank you very much for that. I have another caller on Skype. Can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please.
Good morning, Adika.
Good morning to you.
I have two questions and one encouragement.
Go ahead.
My name is Mecha Slaughter from UK. Number one question is, This our brother Yoruba, our brothers Yoruba that are evangelizing, saw their list of the people that they said belongs to them. The Ishekiri is one of them, and Ishekiri, I believe, is our own.
Yes.
So how come they are claiming them?
They are not. They are entitled to lay claim anywhere, but do not forget that eventually, or in the end, Ishekiri people will go to the ballot. They will go to the polls, and they will decide where they wish to belong to. Don't forget that. Anybody can make any claim of anything, but during the debate, during the campaign, for the place beside that will determine where Ishekiri will belong to, then all the evidence we have at our disposal will be ventilated for the world to see and to hear. And then Ishekiri people will decide where they want to go to. It's as simple as that. That is why democracy is very beautiful. Allow the people to decide. We are not going to join issues with anybody, but eventually Ishekiri people will decide where they wish to belong to. Igodomigodo will decide where they wish to belong to. Nobody is going to force anybody to do anything, because we are going to practice pure, unadulterated democracy. The will of the people will be paramount at all times. Next question, please.
Thank you for that. Yeah, the next question is that. And now, every time you are broadcasting, you tell us that you tell the British. I want to know, is it writing, or have you gone to them, or is it the broadcast that you believe that they are listening to? Because if
I have heard meetings, let me answer you. I have heard meetings, and I've also written. So it's not about what I broadcast. What I broadcast is for the consumption of Biafrans and lovers of freedom all over the world. When I say I am telling or I have spoken to, that means I have written, I have held a meeting with them.
And you have, okay, and you still get a reply from the written ones?
Yeah, of course we get written replies from them, which is we want, we will continue to engage the Nigerian government about perceived human rights abuses, but in the main, we encourage and we want Nigeria to remain one, which is for their interests, understandably so. Yes.
The next one is, this evangelism. I have seen that what your broadcast have been doing a lot. I've seen these people, the middle belt, coming to realize what they have done and what they are doing, which they have repented. Then I've seen the Oduduwas, because this evangelism, what you are doing, I don't think is, maybe we are, we are saying we want Biafra, but this broadcast will make people to understand that they will even pull out from the Nigeria before us. So, which is very, very good. Then, now, I said, with this one that they have just done in London here is heard everywhere. What I am encouraging, what I want you to do, please, even if it is not this 1st October, any other day, or even do more before that time, let every place that the Biafrans are, let us evangelize there. Come out en masse and do the evangelism, so that if people do not see us, they will hear about us. It's very, very important, and it will not be once. People will begin to ask, these people, who are they? What do they want? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have made a very compelling argument, and that is what people don't understand when they say to us sometimes, what has IPOB been able to accomplish? What have we done with our agitation? These are the things they don't understand that we have been able to accomplish. If not for what we are doing, do you think that people from the Middle Belt will rise up and say that they are sorry for the role they played during the war? Of course not. These are the things that most people don't appreciate, the level and the depth of work that we have done and will continue to do. Thank you, my dear brother. You've raised a very important point. Thank you very, very much. And we shall see what we're going to do in order to encourage what the Oduduwa people are doing. Thank you very, very much for that. I have a caller on the line. I wonder if this very caller can hear me. This caller, can you hear me? The caller on the, no, they cannot hear me. The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my dear brother. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ifeanyi Chukwu Ebo. Ifeanyi Chukwu Ebo is from Mbano.
Thank you.
Mbano is in Biafra land.
That reminds me of Okoti Ebo as well, who is from Igoromigodo land. Very, very interesting. We answer the same names. Please go ahead.
Thank you, my lord. I called you my lord. And I'm living here in Spain with my family. I live in Torrejón de Ardoz, capital Madrid. And I'm an IPOB member, deputy coordinator in Zone 5, San Cristobal. So, my lord, let me ask you one question. I have 5 questions to ask you, but let me go straight to the first one. We all know that from the fruit of your lips, I said all the whole world, not only Biafra, not Africa as a continent, but the whole world know that fruit of your lips, people enjoy good things.
Thank
people
you.
enjoy good things. But the unfaithful have an appetite for violence, which is not from us. My first question now is, what are we going to do about the tunnel our enemies are building at Loba Uku? That is number 1 question. Should I go to the number 2, or you ask this one first? Or
Let me answer this first. We have responded to Mietiala, and we have told them, made it very clear to them in no uncertain terms, that we would not allow any illegal presence of Fulani terrorists in our land. That includes Lop Anta or Lop Uku. Very, very clear. We are making it abundantly. Let me tell you also something that people don't know. Do you know they sent Nigerian zoo soldiers to Lop Uku to go and protect the land they have forcibly taken from the villagers? Some of you have seen our mothers protesting in and around that very area. Everybody has seen it. But as I said, is when you have a compromised leadership on the ground, as you have with your governors and also your Hanese, this is the type of nonsense you get. They sent Fulani soldiers to come and guard Fulani land grabbers in Imo State and in Abia State. Very, very sad indeed. Of course, we are not going to put up with that rubbish. As I've said before, they should go to the townships and rent houses the same way we do when we go to the north. Or they can build, they can buy land in the township and build. There is something unique about us as a people that most of the world are envious about. We are the only people that we come from village, but we live in the town. We are the only people. If you ask somebody now in England, oh, where are you from? I'm from London. Where in London? Oh, I'm from Hackney. Where were you born in Hackney? They'll say, oh, St. Philip's Road. Who comes from St. Philip's Road? We don't come from St. Philip's Road. I come from Isiama Faruku. These are the things that our people don't even know what we have. We have township where we can live and work and do all of that. But we have our village where we come from. During Christmas, during celebration, during New Year festival, we go back to our villages where we come from. That where our umbilical cord is buried. Now, let's say you live in a street in a town somewhere, and you live on the 17th floor of a condominium, of a block of flats. Backyard is concrete. Outside is tarmac, is main road. And you gave birth to a child in that block. Where are you going to bury the umbilical cord of that very child? We send it to our village where we come from. That is who we are. And most of our people don't understand this. If you allow Fulani Janjaweed to come and take over our forest, if you allow them to come and desecrate our land, what you're trying to say in essence is that this very land that we hold very dear, this very land that our ancestors, through the grace of the Almighty God in heaven, gave us directive, gave us divine revelation as to how we're going to live with our land, that all that history for thousands of years we're going to destroy it overnight. People come from Lop Uku, from Lop Anta. Their umbilical cord will need to be buried there. That is our culture, is who we are. And then when you go there's Janjaweed living there. What sort of nonsense is that? We can't have that rubbish, please. We're not going to have it. Please go ahead. Please go ahead with your second question. Go ahead.
Thank you, my lord. My second question is about the zoo passport that is in our position, because one of the literatures that I read told me that it is the cracking of the wall, W-A-L-L, not wall, it is the cracking of the wall that allowed lizards and all sort of rodents to make nests in such cracked wall. So why I'm saying this is because we are in position of this zoo passport. How do we do? Can you use that your power which God has blessed you with and discuss with the authorities in diaspora so that they can give us a temporary document and for us to release this zoo passport and get it done? In case of any infringement, if we want to use document to solve our problem, that temporary can be able to help us before the real passport from the Biafra will come. That's my second question. God bless you.
And bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. If you find, in some countries, you may find the use of an identity card. The passport of the zoo you're holding doesn't mean anything. It's an identity card. That is what it means. Just an ID card. It doesn't mean anything. When Nnamdi Azikiwe was fighting the British, he had British travel documents. That didn't stop him from fighting British to liberate, of course, the people he thought were his people. But today, history has taught us something completely different. Kwame Nkrumah had British travel documents. Patrice Lumumba had the travel documents of Belgium. It didn't stop him from doing what he's doing. Nelson Mandela, of course, had the travel documents of South Africa. Funny enough, that didn't stop him from doing what he's doing, because Nelson Mandela traveled and met our father, who is Mbazulika Amechi. Mbazulika Amechi housed him even in our land. So I don't want to, place so much emphasis on this passport thing. You can decide to become stateless. You can decide to become stateless. You can destroy your zoo passport to become stateless. And then the UN where you are will guide you as to what to do. But if you need it to move about to travel, it's just a travel document. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't confer any special citizens or citizenship on you. It's just a mere travel document of convenience that you're using to move about and to stay where you are. Thank you very, very much, my dear brother. I have a caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please, if you may. No, please. I have a caller on the line. Can you hear me? This caller is on Skype. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning to you.
My name is Nnaken Chuku. I'm calling from Germany.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
So, Mazi, I have just one question. I don't want to waste a lot of time.
Go ahead.
So, my question is, I just want to know for us that are in diaspora, because we are there. You have a lot of soldiers that are in diaspora that are just waiting for anything that will happen in the Zoological Republic or Nigeria. So what I'm trying to ask is there anything that have been putting together for us in diaspora on how we can coordinate ourselves if something happens in Nigeria, if it happens today that in Biafra land war breaks out? Because there are a lot of us who are ready already, if anything happens in Biafra land, that we are going back home to fight that very war. Because sometimes when I talk to people in Biafra land, like my brothers or relatives, they always say something. They always say this word that we are in Europe, we just run our mouth. Why don't we come to Nigeria where the thing is happening? So that is why I'm just trying to ask if there is anything that have been putting together for we that are in diaspora on how we can coordinate ourselves should in case if something happens now that war breaks out. Nobody knows what may happen tomorrow in Biafra land. So we can be ready here already to go back home and join those people that are already at home to fight that very coordinate ourselves should, in case if something happens now that war breaks out, nobody knows what may happen tomorrow in Biafra land. So we can be ready here already to go back home and join those people that are already at home to fight that very coordinate ourselves should, in case if something happens now that war breaks out, nobody knows what may happen tomorrow in Biafra land. So we can be ready here already to go back home and join those people that are already at home to fight that very coordinate ourselves should, in case if something happens now that war breaks out, nobody knows what may happen tomorrow in Biafra land. So we can be ready here already to go back home and join those people that are already at home to fight that very
my dear brothers, to go and things are happening there. That is where we tell you what we are doing. That is where you are going to do all you can to support this very effort we are making to restore Biafra. Thank you very, very much for your call. Thank you for that. I have another caller on the line. This caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, sir. I can hear you.
Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Igwe Emmanuel. I'm calling from France.
From France. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Okay, I have just one question, and I also have one thing to say. My question is, since we know that the Fulanis are coming in our land with the help of maybe the governors and the politicians, why can't we start taking them, using one of them as an scapegoat, so that the rest of them we learn from one person? So why can't we take one of them off? Why? Because I know once you give the order, maybe anyhow you want to give the order. Once you give the order, we will do something to take one of them out. So why can't you give the order so we will take one out so that the rest we learn?
I prefer to do what Yeshua did, which is to keep praying for them to repent. That's what we do. But we have raised our banner. I want you to go and study what it means. In the medieval times, what it means to raise the dragon banner. Go and study it very well. And then you will understand what shall become of all these people. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very, very much for your call. I believe I have another caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Uwa Sophia Obaze. I'm calling from Norway.
From Norway. Thank you very much.
Sir. Yes, sir. So I want to ask you very, very difficult question. You know, good morning, everybody, lovers of freedom all over the world. My name is Uwa Sophia. Of course, many of you know me. Sir, please, you know that tomorrow is Edo election in Edo State, and the name is Igodomigodo, fraudulent call Edo, which is Ado from the Yoruba land. And Oba of Benin said they have already ringed it, of course we know. And you know, the meeting Oba of Benin called a week back, he said in case if it happened to be like Jonathan Buhari issue, that Obaseki should say congratulations to Imam Pastor Izeyamu. So, sir, our boys, of course, they will rise up and fight for their right. Of course, I believe that 100% or 98%. So, for example, they ring the election and our boys, because Igodomigodo is the key to Biafra land, 100%. We know they argue that one, and our people are ready. Of course, they are not showing their faith, but they are ready, because through this election, we will get Biafra. I want to ask you, sir, for example, Igodomigodo children, both the Esha, Uchi, Agedebude, Okbila, Esako, the Benis, they rise up and said, I want to take my glory. We want to break off this useless country called Cabo Diosa Republic. Sir, will you help them? Will you back them up? Because all of us, we are fighting for the same thing. You understand? Although many of them have not joined IPOB. They are not in IPOB in that zone. So, will you back them up or will you join them? Because the key is Igodo. Sir, sorry to say this. The problem we have in Igodo is not Fulani, it's the Yorubas, the Oduduwa people, because they conquer us. I have the audio and the cassette. They conquer us. They fought war with the Igodo people and they placed their Oba there. So they want to conquer us the second time. We will not let them do it. So our people are very well know that they conquer us. They conquer the Igodo people. So right now we want to take our glory back, sir. If they start and be fighting the Yoruba Janjaweed, the Lebino Janjaweed, will you support them? That is my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. If I can support the Middle Belt to be free, if I can support Oduduwa to be free, why won't I support my own flesh and my own blood? And before any Ifulefu begins to talk rubbish, go to your village and look for a man who is over 80 years old and ask them what their father said to them or told them about the war of the Idu and Oba, which is the Igodo war itself. So it is there in our folklore for people to avail themselves of. I will support our people in Igodo land with everything that I have. And I will also encourage other people as well, not just in Biafra land, but elsewhere, to be free. Because we know the result of the election is Yamu, the Imam, the pastor Imam, is going to be declared the winner. We know that for sure because APC wants to take the state and they will take it. That is what they do. And then in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure they will ask you to go to Ondo to go and vote as well. And in 2023, they will ask you to vote. And all our exercises in futility. We all understand that the only thing we need now is a revolution. We need a change of not just the way we govern ourselves, but the way we reason as well. I thank you very much, my dear sister, for your contribution and continue the hard work you're doing. Igodo is Biafra land and nobody is disputing that at all. If you're in doubt, go and ask an elderly man in your village. Ogo Idunoba that saw the enthronement of an Oba in Iduland, Igodo. It is there in history. Some of you don't know history, we cannot help you. Let us take this call. I have another caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, if you may. It is taking time. The caller on the line, can you hear me on Skype? The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, please. Your name and where you are.
Yeah, my name is Frank Chukunanyarama Aflogo. I'm from Anambra State, precisely from Obunka, precisely. I'm calling from India.
From India. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I don't have much question to ask. I just want to enlighten our people concerning that language divided and rule issue concerning a 5-state issue.
Yes.
So, what I just want to say about the issue is that language is not defined where a person comes from. I've been in Libya before, and there is people there called Saba. There are people there called Triplo, which is Traplos. If in Libya, they will call it Traplos, which everybody has Triple. And there are people there called Zoarino, which is Zoara. If you are Zoara, if you speak, if you travel to Muzuk, that state called Muzuk, if you speak, the Zoarino person speak to Muzuk. Muzuk can know here what exactly what Zoarino people speaking. But they have language called they have language called Libi. Everybody can speak it. Everybody can hear it.
Is it Arabic? Is it same as Arabic? This Libi, is it Arabic?
Yes, it's Arabic. It's Arabic language.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody can hear it. If a Zwarino person travel to Traplos, if you speak Zwarino inside Traplos person cannot hear it. But when you speak Arabic, which is they use it as a general language, everybody can hear you. Here in Libya, here in India, if you speak, there is they call the Mahastra. If you speak Mahastra to Banglo man cannot hear you. But when you speak Hindi, they can hear you.
Yes.
Then when you from Delhi, which is the capital city, travel to a place they call Pune. If you Delhi person speak language when you travel to Pune, the Pune man cannot hear. But when you speak Hindi, everybody can hear. So I don't know where people get all this about language or those 5 states. If you not speak Igbo, which means you are not Biafra things, so I don't know where
it's
they
rubbish.
get all this.
It's pure bunkum. It's people who are not educated, my dear brother. These are people who are not. As I said before, if your orientation is from the zoo, especially from the zoo education system, you are in very serious trouble. You are running on a deficit. You don't know anything. If you ask somebody now, thank you very much for that clarification regarding Libya. If you ask somebody now about Egypt, they will tell you that Egypt is an Arab country, but originally it wasn't Arab people who were there. The Muslims conquered Egypt. I think it was about 639, 646 AD. So the people you see in Egypt today are not actually original Egyptians. But if you go there in Egypt, you will see them. They are the dark-skinned people, the Phoenicians of old. You will see them there. Our people, in Africa, we don't know anything. We don't study. We don't love history. We don't like reasoning. We don't like enlightenment. I've asked black people before, why do you think that Europe is preeminent? When I say Europe, because Europe gave birth to Canada, Europe gave birth to USA, Europe gave birth to Australia, to New Zealand. All the advanced countries of the world are from Europe. And I keep asking black people, do you know why Europe is preeminent in the advancement of humanity on this very earth? Do you know why they're always at the front? A black person doesn't understand it. The reason is because there was this thing we are doing now on Radio Biafra was done in Florence, in Italy, during the medieval times, as Europe was coming out of the Dark Ages. They held a conference. At that very conference, I think it was organized by the Medici family. I'm not too sure. I need to go back and check it very well. In Florence, in Italy, they decided to subject everything that they do to the court of reason. In other words, if you want to do something and it's not reasonable to do it, you don't do it at all. No longer superstition. These are the people that wrote the Bible. But they said that Bible is making us too superstitious and too foolish. Let us come away from this superstition and come to reason. As soon as Europe embraced reason, they became number one in the whole world till this very day. Now you understand how they roll. Our people need to go back to school to study very well. Black people are not we are not educated, honestly speaking. We think that education is certificate and degrees. No, it doesn't mean that. It means the ability to reason, not just by one person, but by a collective. The entire group needs to make sense. The entire people together. That is why in Black Africa you have individual brilliance. You can have the Okonjo-Iwealas of this world. Individually they are very, very brilliant, very, very smart, very intelligent. But collectively as a group, bring them together as a group of intelligent men and women, you see them floundering all over the place because they are not enlightened. It's called enlightenment. The ability to submit yourself to superior reasoning. When somebody convinces you with a superior argument, you accept it. Not going back and say what happened in 1972. And you've been convinced or put straight. You go back, what happened in 1967? No, we should stop reasoning that way. I have a caller on the line. This caller is on our new WhatsApp line. Give us your name and where you are, please. Your name and where you are. The caller on WhatsApp for the last time, your name and where you are. If you say hello one more time, I'll cut you off. Your name and where you are.
Yeah, my name is Anele Chisimenu Kenya. I am calling from South Korea.
From South Korea. Go
Hello?
Ahead. Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead, please. We are listening. Go ahead.
From South Korea. Yeah, I am from Abia State, Umahia, basically Oboyo Bibere. My leader, I have something to say.
Go ahead.
I don't have too much of time. Since 2012, we are inside this struggle. Why not to declare something can make you bring Biafra now, but we're not wasting time again?
No, I cannot do that, and I will tell you the reason why. The emergence of Biafra has to be an organic process where we take people along, not just taking them along in their conviction that freedom is a good thing, but in the way they reason, in the way they think, in the way they apply themselves, and also how disciplined they are. You said since 2012, we have been preaching Biafra is now to declare something again. Again. That is the problem we have as black people. In 2012, we were preaching on this very platform, and very late that very year, IPOB was formed. 2013-14, I taught the world. 2015, I was arrested. I was incarcerated for nearly 2 years. I was incommunicado because I was sick and recuperating and making my way to Israel on the 3rd year. So all these years we've been together, for 3 years, I have been out of circulation, so to speak. Now listen very carefully. You are trying to educate. Listen, getting Biafra is the easy part. Sustaining the model that we have in mind is going to be very difficult. In order for us to make it easy for us and for everybody else, we need to enlighten, we need to educate. Look at all your governors. Look at Ohaneze, for instance. Look at those that reside in Lagos and in Abuja. Look at all the battles we are having to face with the Fulefus and the saboteurs everywhere. Do you think that all this resistance should not be overcome first before we make any declaration? Or do you want us to make a declaration now, and the Fulani colonial masters that you have now, those who are colonizing the Ohanezes of this world and your governors, those who are appointing governors for you, they will make our life hell in our land using these people as proxy? Don't you know that? Sometimes our people, you need to trust us. We know what we are doing. Our march towards freedom is unstoppable. But each step of the way, every step we take, every move we make is for a reason, is for a purpose. And eventually and ultimately Biafra will come. I share your impatience. I want it to be today, tomorrow. But the Sabos cannot be there as we are marching into the land of freedom. It is not possible. And somebody could have said to Elohim in heaven when the Israelites left Egypt, why don't they just take a straight route from the northern land of Goshen all the way, just cut across and jump into Gaza and then into the promised land? Elohim said, no, because you won't appreciate it. I'm going to take you on a detour, on a longer route. And eventually they got in. And eventually they fought their way in. What I want us to be doing right now is to be asking ourselves, what are we going to do to support this very effort that we are all making to restore Biafra? Because Biafra is very imminent. Looking at the zoo, do you think the zoo will survive the next 12 months? Is that what you think? It cannot survive it. They will bribe. You know, when we say these things, they go. All they do is that they go to Haneza and they give them money. They go to the governors. They say, don't worry, you'll be the next president. And the governor goes to his village and says to his village, what IPOB is doing is going to deny you your right, because I'm been lined up to be made the president of the zoo, Nigeria. If you allow IPOB in this village, it means that I am no longer going to be the president, and none of you here will be senior special assistant. You're not going to be looting money as the Fulanis have been doing. These things are very, very powerful and very persuasive argument to some people. So these are some of the things we are seeking to overcome. We went to war in 1967. There was no global media outreach. This time the narrative is different. We went to war then with nobody being able to tell our story. Now it is different. We went to war being demonized by Britain and by Fulani Janjaweed and by Yorubas and Middle Belt. Of course, that is the truth. They demonized us. Nobody can rise up to speak on our behalf. But today, is that the case? Today, Middle Belt has apologized. Today, Oduduwa is asking for their own freedom. Today, everybody have realized that Igbo man is not their problem. Today, we even know that Igoromigoro is Igbo land. So it is now becoming very clear to all of us. And had I declared Biafra in the year 2017, would all these things have emerged? It wouldn't have. So sometimes we know what we are doing. But let us not forget we are under the supreme guidance of heaven itself. Chukwukikabiama, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Go ahead then.
I was born in Maiduguri.
Yes.
In Buni, Borno State.
Yes.
I know how these Fulani people are. I know how they are behaved. I born in their hands. Before I left them.
Yes. Go ahead. Have we lost? Oh my goodness, we have lost our dear brother. Unbelievable. Yes, my dear brother, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I thought I lost you. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
I can hear you. Like I said before, I born in Maiduguri, Yadimbuni. I behave because of to deal. I know how to collect things with their hands. Because of to collecting Biafra like this system we are going, I don't think these Fulani people can give us that Biafra easily.
Fulani is not going to give us. Listen to me. Listen very carefully. Fulani cannot. It is not in their gift. It is not in their power to give us Biafra. But we must, in all that we do, in everything that we do, there are what I call very, very basic, internationally acceptable standard we must adhere to. That is something we keep forgetting. There are some basic standards we must adhere to. I don't want us to make the mistakes of the past. Ojukwu went to Aburi, discussed or negotiated restructuring and came back. The zoo government led by Gowon reneged on it. The subsequent actions of our leader gave room for the world to demonize Biafra, to say we seceded. Do you understand? We know what we are doing. We are not relying. Fulani Nachinama, who are they? Who is Fulani? The enemy is, I wouldn't call them enemy. The person controlling you through Fulani is Britain. You think it's Fulani that is controlling you? It's Britain that is controlling you. And all the forces of neocolonialism. That is the mistake I don't want us to make, please. Who is Fulani? Don't give them credit they don't deserve. Fulani who are not polished, enlightened, educated enough to do anything. All they do is to move cattle from place to place. How can they be holding us? Fulani is not holding us anything. It's Britain that is using Fulani as a smoke screen, as camouflage to be holding us. Just like the man behind the Buhari mask in Asorok. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. Thank you very, very much. I have another caller on the line. Another caller on the line on WhatsApp. Give us your name and where you are, please. Their line is fluctuating. It is fluctuating. I will give them a few more seconds. If it doesn't come on, then I will proceed to the very next person, which I have just done. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Oh, Amadike one of Biafra. Good morning, my lord.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Mazi Ifeanyi Chukwunwara. I'm a native of FM, Isaiah FM in Ebonyi State.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
my own director, I'm very happy to hear your voice for the very first time since this struggle began. That's talking to you on phone. I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm blessed today.
Thank you
very
much.
Blessed.
You're welcome.
I have a very critical and disturbing question.
Go ahead.
It's not about our struggle, but of what our people is going through in Biafra land. Yes. Does this system, more especially in Anambra State, that's where the thing is mainly domiciled. Yes. I don't think it's so in other states. There's this group of people that are called touts. They give themselves different names, but all of them are Aburo touts.
Yes.
Are you getting me? These people don't have any significant job that you say that this is what these people are doing, or they are government internal generated revenue agency or something of that nature. They will group themselves and station themselves in different locations, and they are there to intimidate and harass and extort money from our people. They're suffering in this country now. And there are people, there are some people that have a very good lucrative business that are out of business today because of what is happening in this country. There are some people that are employed, that are civil servants, that are out of their work today because of what is happening. There are some people that are workers in construction companies. There's no construction work going on in this country now. They are out. So most of them borrowed keke or hired purchase, or they were able to gather small money that they made from their work or from their business. They purchased keke to be sustaining their family. Then somebody that has nothing, that is not doing anything, a young, full-blooded young man that is full of life, will be on the road, station themselves in different locations, in strategic locations, that they know that these keke riders, bus drivers cannot escape. Those people will station themselves there, extort huge amount. By the time you do your business, sometimes you will work for them. You go home empty-handed. And if you insist that you will not give them money, if you dare ask them, what am I giving you this money for? Including people, if you buy something from the market, you carry the thing on your head, you pay. You carry it on wheelbarrow pushers, you pay. So, Hamadik, I want to ask, is there anything you can do for us to dampen, because we can't be suffering from the zoo police and army and all that the federal government imposed on us. Then our own people will also be a torment on our flesh to impoverish us the more. Most of these keke drivers and bus drivers and all of them, many people are even afraid to go out to do a legit business to sustain their family because they are afraid that these people can even kill you if you refuse to give them the money. They will beat you to stupor. So, Hamadika, my question is there anything that can be done? At least to give these people relief. To give these people relief. These guys need to look for something to do. If it's that keke, they should go and get their own and ride. That thing they are doing is not a job. They are destroying the life of our people. Please, Hamadika, I want to know, is there anything that can be done to relieve us from this mess? Because I know this can be in Biafra land.
It won't be. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. But I want you to listen very attentively, please, and everyone else around the world, if you've joined us this very morning. Now, listen very carefully, please. Those people you call touts and arboros, and they charge you money in the market when you buy something, they stop the keke and they take your keys and they make your life a misery. Do you think they fell from heaven? You may not know this. They were set up by the same people you voted for or you claim you voted for. They are called men of task force, either from the governor's office or from the local government area. That is why they can do anything they like and they get away with it. It is the culture of politics in the zoo. Some of you have forgotten that the dumbing down of educational standards in the zoo, the shutting down of industries in Biafra land, the deliberate policy of mass immigration from Biafra land in search of greener pastures have reduced us to a bunch of wild animals. That is something you don't seem to understand. The people who are on the streets extorting money from people don't want to do it, but the governor empowered them as task force. Local government chairman empowered them as task force to go and get money for them. The same thing that happens with police checkpoints. There is no difference. If those in uniform can do it and get away with it, why can't ordinary unemployed people? Look at all the industries we had under Dr. Michael Okpara shut down. Look at all the industries that Sam Mbakwe built, shut down, destroyed, decimated. Even stockfish that we used to bring into Aba and textile, Obasanjo himself destroyed it with a stroke of the pen. There was a time that we used to import goods and services from Iguacha Seaport, closed down, shut down. People have no jobs to do. So you only have two choices. Do you have them on the roads extorting money, or you have them carry guns and become armed robbers in the night? Which one do you prefer? None of them is good. That is why we are fighting to restore Biafra. And that is why I know if we had all the money in the world, we would have engaged them meaningfully. They don't like what they are doing. They don't like it at all. But they need to survive. The basic human instinct is to try and survive. And that is what they're trying to do. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it is good, but we are going to get rid of it. But we must understand what led to it. When Obiano instituted his task force, that is what they are going to do to extort money from people. The various local government chairmen established their own task forces, and that is exactly what they are going to do, extort money from hapless commuters. We need to stop that from happening, and we need to provide alternative. That alternative is going to be provided inside Biafra, not outside it, because anything you do, they will go to Abuja and they will kill it off. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for that very searching question. I have another caller on the line. This caller, can you hear me? You are on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Good morning from here, Mozambique. From Calling from Mozambique province. Mazi, I have two questions to ask this morning.
Go ahead.
I want to please you to so that you can understand me well, because our leader, there is something that we always borrowing from outside the world. You understand? We are the people that like to copy something and something that happen in other countries. Please, I want to ask this question. Number one is my leader, our women in Biafra land. We have culture to follow it, and we always say that our mothers home and Biafra land. When like this year in Mozambique or other country, if somebody looking for the documents and other things, they say that you want to have marriage with the woman from there before you have their own documents. My leader, my question is, if our people get Biafra now, our women want to marriage, other foreign country want to marriage have marriage with our women, to get paper of Biafra land. If they do divorce, this issue of divorce, are you going to accept? Are we going to permit in Biafra land? Because there is divorce in the other countries. If you have paper, if that person cannot, the marriage cannot go on, he can go and divorce. Because most of that is not our culture. How are we going to follow this matter?
There are two issues you raised. One is, can foreigners marry our daughters to get Biafran papers when Biafra is fully restored? And the answer is yes. We are not going to regulate who falls in love with who and how. If people are in love and they want to get married, nobody can stop them. After all, most of us are abroad, and we married other people's daughters as well to get the papers of those countries. So the same thing is going to happen. We cannot do it outside and expect it not to happen in our land. But what I'm saying is, which is a spin-off from this very question that you asked, and the answer that I'm providing is this. our women should be the ones actually at the forefront of this very struggle and this very fight to restore Biafra. At least that way, rather than going to a criminal Pentecostal pastor and praying and fasting to get husband, there will be abundance of husbands everywhere for her to choose from. Because we'll be in our land, marrying our own daughters, making things possible, so to speak, the way it was in the past. That's what I have to say about that. And about divorce, if there are some things that the state cannot regulate. And Biafra land is not going to be an interventionist state where the state has to decide what happens in a marital home. We're not going to do that. If people want to get divorced, that's entirely up to them. If they want to stay together, that's entirely up to them. But the states will try to support the family as the very basic unit. We will do all we can to make sure that help and assistance are provided to families. That is how it's supposed to be. And, at least to help reduce the occurrence of divorce here and there. But apart from that, we are not going to tamper, to regulate, or to intrude upon people's homes. That is not the job of the state. That is the job of the family and the extended family, and we allow them to deal with it. Thank you very, very much for that. Thank you for that. There is another caller on the line. Let me see if we can get that very caller. Let me take this very call. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? Your name and where you are. I can hear my voice, and as I said earlier, once I hear my voice, that's the end of it. That is the end of it. Let me take this call. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please.
My name is Chika Ike.
And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, sir.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, the world is listening to you. Go ahead.
Ohamadike.
You're kind.
Ohamadike.
You are kind.
Ohamadike.
Remain blessed. Remain blessed.
May the oil upon your head never run dry, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have sacrificed a lot for Biafra people. You did. That is what a people for his people. My question to you this morning is, we have our brothers and sisters who are in Nigerian military and Nigeria police, Air Force, and they want to come out of this Nigerian military. They want to come out of the Air Force. My question is, because of they use this job they are doing for Nigeria, they use it to feed their families. That is their source of income. If they want to come out from the job they are doing for, do you think that Biafra can offer them in return for them to give up these jobs they have in Nigeria, please, sir? Thank you, sir.
It's a very valid question. Thank you very much, my dear sister, because people are trying to feed their families, so I can understand their concerns, which are quite legitimate. But I will answer your question with a quote from the very famous U.S. President John Kennedy. They should be thinking of what they can do for Biafra, not what Biafra can do for them, because they will benefit. We have all, as you alluded to earlier when you started, we have all sacrificed something for this. If sacrificing your 30,000 naira per month job is what it will take for you to help bring about or usher in the kingdom of heaven on the face of this very earth, I think the price is worth it. As I said earlier, anybody leaving the army or the zoo police and you leave the army or the police to work directly with or for IPOB, then we'll see what we can do to take care of you. That is all. That's all we can do. I mean, to help sustain your family. I'm not saying we're going to march the rate that you are earning presently or currently with the zoo, army, or police, but we'll try and see what we can do. The local family will try and see what they can do to support you. That is what we are going to do, because the Biafra we are fighting for is for everybody. Nobody's having fun in the zoo, Nigeria. Nobody's having fun there. Everybody wants to get out. And so do we. That is why we must do all that we can within our powers to ensure that we leave the army and the police to come and become part of this very noble family. Thank you very much, my dear sister. I have another caller on the line on WhatsApp. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please. Your name and where you're calling from, if you may. Can you hear me?
My name is... yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
It's Nemeka Ilo.
Nemeka, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Poland.
From Poland, please go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I've sent it on WhatsApp message because of I don't know if we consider it sensitive.
Okay.
That was why I sent on a WhatsApp message. But I don't know if you would want me, if you can go through it and work on it, fine. But if you see, maybe I don't know. I know a lot of people, thousands of people are sending messages and calling. So
thousands is not easy. They crashed our old line.
It's very important.
I had over 8,000 messages. Unbelievable. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'll go through it. Do you have any question to ask live on air?
You know, just the contribution, because I think it's sensitive. So that is why. But I think if you can have the time,
I'll go through it. I promise you that I will go through it. I will go through the messages. I will go through it. That is a promise. I promise you that. Thank you very much, my dear brother. I will go through your messages, and if there's anything for us to implement, we'll implement it from there. Thank you very much. The caller on the line, can you hear me? Your name and where you are. The caller on Skype, can you hear me? No. The caller on Skype, can you hear me? The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my dear brother. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ndubisos. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Madike, good morning. May God Almighty bless you, and may God continue to protect all our prayers on your head will be fulfilled in Jesus' name. Madike, God bless you. You have done more than enough that we Igbos, we don't deserve your Hamadike. God will continue to bless you. Hamadike, this morning I come with a let me put it in this way, a kind of contribution for the this forthcoming October 1st. Hamadike.
Yes.
I want us to put more awareness on this, because the life of our children matters a lot, because there are a lot of we're in Nigeria, there are a lot of attacks, a lot of terrorist attacks, as in planned attacks coming up, or a serious one. If you recently, a few days ago, my brother left Lagos to Abuja, and during that week, there are a lot of attacks, that in full and bandits attacks, very rampant in Abuja. And now they have pointed many states, even Rivers State pointed many states that they are going to seriously attack. And no one knows when this attack will take effect. It can happen during the time of maybe any marching of whatever useless independence remembrance or whatever they will do. So I want us to say more on this issue, create more awareness, so that our people will remain at home. We sit at home. Let all the Biafran land be silent. In fact, let everybody just enter house, cook a soup, cook anything you feel like, eat and enjoy yourself. Let our children never come out to risk at their lives, because Nigeria don't deserve. We don't deserve to die or lose any single person for Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and well spoken. Thank you very, very much for that. And let me reiterate this very morning: every coordinator in Biafra land, every principal officer of state, every servant of the wonderful people of Biafra, must ensure that there will be no market on the 1st of October. Nothing will happen, not even churches, no mosque, nothing whatsoever. There is going to be total silence across the entire land of Biafra, because there is nothing to celebrate about the zoo. The zoo have brought death, misery, mayhem, poverty, and impoverishment to our people, and that day our silence will speak for us. It will be so loud that the whole world will not fail but to understand that we are fed up with the zoo. There will be no marching. I am telling parents in Biafra land, do not kit your children or dress them up to come out to march for Fulani Janjaweedism. If you're celebrating 1st of October, you're celebrating Fulani mediocrity, you're celebrating British neo-colonialism, you're celebrating poverty, you're celebrating deprivation, you're celebrating Mietiala terrorism, you're celebrating banditry, and you're celebrating idiocy. And we're not going to have that in Biafra land. So parents, be warned. Do not send out your children, because there will be terror attacks in Biafra land, planned, orchestrated, and executed by Mietiala terrorists in Biafra land. They are there now in place. Some of them are even in the army and the police as well. Do not risk the lives of your children. Biafra land will be empty and very silent on that very day. Markets will not open. Markets will not open. Nothing will happen on October the 1st.